Go StreamYard.
Yeah, go StreamYard. Go. Okay, there we go. Looks like we're live. Looks like we're all ready to rock and roll. Thank you, everybody, for joining in here tonight on Northwoods TCG. Tonight we have special guests with DJ's Poke Center joining us. So, DJ, if you like, do an introduction of yourself and what you do in the Pokemon space.
Yeah, so my name's DJ. Just started a business a couple months ago. It's just online. It's not like a physical store at the moment. Yeah, I try to make content about my experience. You know, I'm not a big shot. I don't know. I'm learning, and I show my failures. I show what we're doing right and wrong, and just kind of learning along the way. And people just join me for the fun.
Perfect. And it's always cool to see a new face. Someone that's especially in the Pokemon business, taking the risks right now in the current market and what's happening in it. It's definitely a good thing to see that happening and seeing success in it as well, because that's always the real question: is there success right now for anybody that's interested in joining into the Pokemon market? So I was watching a couple of your videos and I was curious because I know you're recently into the Pokemon TCG. If you were able or possible to get distribution, because that's kind of a big part when you're going into making it a full-time business, is trying to get that line of product that stays pretty consistent. And the question was watching and I saw in your videos, it doesn't sound like you really have anything for distribution yet at this point in time. And how is that working for you right now?
Oh man, it was rough. Definitely, or it's been rough. It's getting easier in this market, I would definitely say. Really, I just had to start on Facebook, and 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I was really starting to build up inventory. Obviously, there wasn't like the mega series or anything, but I was just, hey, I'll offer you 80%. Everybody was saying no because the market was super, super hot, and then it was like, okay, well, then I started going out of state. I live in Virginia. So I was like, okay, let me look in Pennsylvania. And I found someone. So I'd have to go like 6 hours and I'd buy like maybe $5,000 to $10,000 worth of product, drive all the way back. Wouldn't make much, but I was building up stuff for the store. And then I started to find people probably like 3 or 4 months ago. I'd say about 80%, which again isn't great, but that was at least in Virginia. And I was like, cool. So then I would meet these people and I'd say, hey, man, like you can do one of two things. Either you can deal with all these people and get maximum value. You probably have to meet with 12, 15 different people because that's what a lot of people like to do is get like full market value. Or every time you get more product, hit me up. It's a little bit less, but just come to me. And that's worked out really well. And so I've built some relationships with that. Some of them have got mad at me recently, actually, because I stopped buying their product. But I mean, they're getting more desperate, right? There's more and more people selling now. So it's a lot easier. So I can be a little bit more picky.
Yeah, I mean, even to myself, I have distribution with two different sources with ACD and Southern Hobby, and even that's been a struggle. I never intended. So when I got distribution, it was slow. So I let people in back in 2023, beginning of 2024. So I got in about a year and a half ago. And the funny thing is that I don't order enough. I mean, honestly, I don't make this a full-time business. I have a full-time, I'm an owner in another business. So for me to just jump that and jump in the Pokemon just isn't a realistic task. But I was using it to promote my rip and ships and have the Northwoods TCG online and do the sales through there as well. My wife helped me out and everything like that, and still does to this day, keeping that part of it running. But I was just kind of curious is that I know several individuals are trying to get into distribution,
Right.
and they're in like pretty much a queue right now for anybody that is trying to get into distribution. I know that they're like in line waiting for like openings in the Pokemon products. And to be 100% honest, the ones of us that do have access to Pokemon products still are not really able to get the product lines that we really want. So once again, they're still not quite to the point where they're going to let anybody in
Yeah.
to the distribution side of things, which is, it sucks. It really does, especially since, most businesses, like for us, I do HVAC business. Once you become a dealer or you get a wholesaler and you get that opportunity, they usually plan on you being there. And no matter what, you kind of always get product. And the distribution for any kind of TCG is not like that. Basically, they just go low man on totem pole starts getting cut. So like Danny Phantom, some of the bigger ones, they go down to 60% allocation. I'm small, so at one point I was down to like 20% of allocation. So it's like they completely just start cutting you off. It's almost like they start trying to squeeze you out a little bit at that point in time. So, it's nice having distribution when there's product and when it's available. And once again, when the markets get really, really tight, it's great because instead of paying almost MSRP for some of the products or 80% of market or 75% of market,
Yeah.
you're getting it under MSRP. So you can just sell at MSRP typically and have good throughput. And even now getting distribution, it's not always at the low pricing any longer either. As a smaller purchaser, they got tier systems, and basically I'm not big enough, so I don't get the best tier ratings either. So I'm playing closer, like midway to that MSRP range, compared to like someone's buying 1,000 booster boxes still in this market is getting really, really good pricing. So it's just it's an interesting market. It's an interesting part for the business side of the Pokemon TCG, how volatile it is in the TCG market for trying to continue to operate and run.
So would you say when you want the product in the bull run, it's hard to get, but it might be easier during the bear run, but then again, there's not as many people that want to buy the product?
Correct. That's what I always laugh, because people think with distribution, you're going to go, well, it's a bull run, so you're going to make big money because you're able to raise your prices. And it's like, that's a great theory, except for now I can only get 20% of the amount of product I had before. So even though I'm able to charge more technically for it, that charging more is not even making. So 2023 and 2024, I'm going to make about half as much this year as I did in those 2 years, because of the fact that I don't really buy off the secondary market. I try to keep as much as I can through distribution. Honestly, I just bought a few things off of the open market here recently, just because I wasn't willing to sit there and beg people and try and pay 80% and chase the market and hope it doesn't change and drop. And, once again, Scarlet and Violet's one of those really, really difficult eras. So Sword and Shield, the market just, once it went, it just continued to kind of roll forward. So you could sell Brilliant Stars all the way to the end in Scarlet and Violet. You could sell, Chilling Rain all the way to the end of Scarlet or Sword and Shield, and nobody really questioned it, and even beyond. Scarlet and Violet's a really interesting era when it comes down to sets, because it seems like even back when base set, Paldea Evolve, Obsidian Flames, everybody was in it who was in it during that first couple weeks of release. So I'd buy my first allocation. We would burn through that allocation on rip and chips because everybody's for it. And I'd go buy another couple boxes thinking, oh, this is going to be great, because everybody's buying. And then you'd get it and nobody would buy. It's like it would shut off until the next set. And then the next set became gigantic. Everybody wanted the next set. You can never plan enough allocations for that next set. And it was just like that all the way through Scarlet. So once you got stuff that was behind, it never moved. Obsidian Flames, I left. I had her Paradox Rifts and Obsidian Flames product sitting for almost a year.
That's a long time. Yeah.
It is. It just wouldn't move. I mean, everybody was on the Temporal Forces, or they were on Paldean Fates, or they were on the Twilight Masquerade, and nobody wanted to go back. It's just like once you got past that set, nobody has interest in it. And we're seeing it again, even at the end here. Look at Journey Together. You go buy Journey Together products right now, they don't move very fast. They're very, very slow. Black and white products now, very, very slow. Mega is starting to get slower on the sales. So everybody shifts to whatever the next set is. It's like nobody has a favorite set that where a group of people fall into. So like Sword and Shield, we had people falling into groups that loved, Fusion Strike. They love the Gengar chase. They love that chase. They'd go after it no matter what. If you had those packs, they would sell. Same thing. Evolving Skies packs would sell no matter what. Brilliant Stars. People love the Arceus and the Charizard chase, and they just kept buying it. That's not something that we see in the Scarlet and Violet era. Even in the hype and FOMO, we still see glimpses of that fact that once that movement, that group moves, they don't really go back. And it's a really, really interesting part, especially when we get reprints of popular sets. I mean, Destin's Rivals. I bought Destin's Rivals sleeve blisters because they came through distribution here. And the sales are way down on them. Even if I'm under market price, I could go and put them on TCG Player right now and they'd probably sell quickly, but they're not moving as fast. It's just like once they're past and the mob moves, they don't really look back anymore. So it's like everybody's moving the hype and the FOMO to the next set. So you almost got to plan ahead for what you're going to get for the next set. Get as much as you can in the first couple weeks and then kind of back down. Don't go and chase back after it, because it just never seems to catch legs again like it did originally.
That's really good advice, because I started this store pretty much for Mega Base and sold out really fast. Like you said, like a first week or so. I mean, it was crazy. Then I bought a little bit more, definitely a little slower. And then I said, should I buy like a third kind of wave? It's not like officially the third wave, but maybe like 4 days later. And it's crazy how those 4 or 5 days difference matters. So I only bought like 10 of the Gardevoir and 10 of the Lucario. It took me till like a week ago to sell those ones. And then the Phantasmal Flames, incredible, right? The first couple of days, incredible. Bought some more, incredible, sold it all. Even the Mega UPCs. And then I, like you said, actually, I was like, well, maybe I should slow it down a little bit. And then I went and bought 100 ETBs for $70. but but yes, it's a lot slower for me for sure.
It is. And I mean, and that's just the weird, it really changed. So I've been ripping and shipping since Sword and Shield. And there's really been that shift even on the rip and ship side or on the storefront side. It's just, it's weird that Sword and Shield, everybody wanted everything. Like you could pull a Sword and Shield pack even today. If you put Sword and Shield products in your shop, they are gone like really, really fast. They don't sit. People really love it. Crown Zenith. I mean, if you get Crown Zenith in your shop, it's snagged like as fast as you can almost put it up there. If you're right at market price on it, it's gone. Nobody even questions it. But you go list any of the other Scarlet and Violet sets, they disappear. It's the weirdest thing when it comes down to Scarlet and Violet. And I don't know if that's going to continue all the way through Mega. My feelings are from the first two sets right now, it appears to be following that trend where Mega's going to lose interest. So I still got, like you said, I still have some of the Mega Latias boxes that they're under market value, but they won't move.
Yeah.
It's like people just skim right over them and they're going into Phantasmal Flames, 3-pack blisters. Those things move really fast. But yeah, it's just, what do you do? I mean, you're trying to predict the market, and the worst part is even at distribution or when you're buying from the open market, you're getting stuff that's older. You're not getting Phantasmal Flames offered to you from very many people at this point in time. I mean, sometimes like you did find ETBs or something like that, a grouping, but typically it's a set or two. So someone will all of a sudden have a bunch of like, let's just say Journey Together check lane blisters, those single pack check lane blisters. They'll call up and say, hey, I got these. I'll sell them to you for $5.50 a piece. And you're like, okay, market is technically $7.50, $8. And you're like, okay, I should be able to do something with that. And then you bring them into your store and they sit, they collect dust. And it's like, okay, we're in this bull market, but yet I'm sitting on all these old sets of check lane blisters. They just don't go as quick. I mean, they move, they do slowly. It's not like someone like you'd think where they just fly out the door. It's very, very slow, very, very, just drug out. It's nothing quick.
So what do you think if you were to say no, what would happen? If you're like, you know what, I don't need that Journey Together, would they cut you off completely?
With distribution?
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't take some of the products right now, they would probably be okay with it at this point in time. The problem is it's going to hurt me futuristically. If they do get like another, basically what happens is right now they wouldn't mind taking my product and giving it to a bigger company. There's companies out there right now that are looking for products still pretty heavily, and my allocations are never big enough. The thing is I only stream 1 to 2 days a week. I've just started doing like 2 pretty consistently, and I'm not burning through like hundreds of thousands of dollars of product every single month. I mean, my heaviest months are like release months. It'll go up to like maybe $15,000, that month. And then it'll drop back down the following months down to like 6, 7, 8, maybe on a good month. So that's always the fact as well, is that when distribution was slow or had a ton of product and volume inside of the warehouse, they were okay with having people like me around because, hey, I go and buy Obsidian Flame 6-pack booster bundles because they were really, really cheap and doing a deal on them. So I would clean them out of the warehouse, and that's just a normal, thing that they had sitting there. They just wanted to get out because they've been sitting on it so long. And all the way up until Surging Sparks, you could have bought any single set from all the way from Scarlet and Violet base set all the way to Surging Sparks in the warehouse. It was sitting there. I could have called. The only thing that was missing was Twilight Masquerade booster boxes. Realistically, those were the only booster boxes, but the ETBs were still sitting there. Nobody wanted. There was ETBs everywhere in that set. They were begging for people to take them things. So there again, it's that functionality in the market that's just like really, really, weird when it comes down to what changed at Surging Sparks point in the hobby and how we all of a sudden just all got dumped.
Man, that's crazy to think about because, you basically can't really say no. I mean, you could, like you said, but that's going to hurt you. But the one good thing is for sure with the distro is like you're getting it at a pretty good value to where you said you could sell it for MSRP, worst case scenario. And so definitely like what I'm doing from Facebook and stuff, nobody's giving it to me for under MSRP, you know what I mean? So definitely like an advantage for sure. But you also don't get the quantity. I don't know.
Yeah. That's just it. I mean, it's always a little bit of a balancing act when it comes down to it. Now it's basically you take whatever they got because number one, you need it. You got to have some product. Once again, you got to have the cash flow. You got to have throughput no matter what. If you have a business, I could mothball the business. I mean, it really wouldn't make a big difference to me on my income side of things when it comes down to it. It's not my primary income, so it's expendable money. Basically, everything I make in Pokemon just goes out to buy more inventory and more Pokemon. So realistically, it doesn't really leave the business side of the Pokemon side of things. But on the other hand, if I mothball it, you got to lose all that algorithms. You got to try and rebuild all of those connections with distribution. You have to hope that they don't get too mad at you for leaving if they hold your spots, because they might just kick you out if you're not purchasing so much per month and trying to keep up with that. So they're not going to hold a spot for you, especially with the markets currently, even now with the way they are, they're just not going to do those kind of things to try and help you out as a business at this point in time. Back in 2020 or 2023, absolutely. I mean, they were wanting people to come in and take as much product as they could because it was just sitting. Nobody was buying as much at that point in time. It was easy to get product. And as long as they have inventory, they're willing to work with you and they're willing to do work with you and you can work with them. And once again, they do like deals, bundle deals. And the bundle deals were fairly good back then. You buy some of the tins or some of the other products that were maybe a little slower moving, but you could still break them down and use them for rip and ship, or you could at least sell the tins at MSRP or even a little bit under, but they were selling them low enough you could do stuff with them. And that worked out really well back then. Now, if you bought a case of, let's just say, Journey Together booster boxes came up and I passed on it. They threw out an offer where, yeah, you buy these, but you got to buy, these battle decks or these, theme decks. You got to buy 2 cases of these or 3 cases of these theme decks to get 2 booster boxes of Journey Together. So like Pokemon, a perfect example of it when you're sitting there looking at someone and people laugh about it and get mad because he's sitting on Pokemon cards. But to be 100% honest, as an online business, theme decks are a kiss of death. You can't get rid of them things. We're not an LGS. We're not someplace where people are playing Pokemon. We're not a place where, people are realistically trying to build or do things like that. They're buying cards. They're buying, pet booster packs. They're buying collection boxes. They're buying ETBs. They're buying booster boxes. They're not looking for things to build decks off of our websites. 99% of the time, they have no interest in decks. They're just going to hang on a shelf. And that's exactly where, like Pokemon, was buying those bundles because he wanted the bundles. But once again, you didn't want to do that. Then you get a throne of junk Pokemon cards that you just can't get rid of. You just sit on it because that's basically, for me, it'd go in the fireplace because you're never going to get rid of it.
I have some battle decks or battle academies that I bought. So while I've been experimenting, it's been an interesting time trying to get inventory. And some of the other ways I tried Rudy's Patreon for like 6-7 months. That wasn't very good. No offense. I like him. I've been watching him for years, but the program wasn't great for me because he'd sell you like 2 things, but they're for market. So there's no margin. So after 6-7 months, cut that off. Then I tried a couple other Discords, and one that I actually ended up thinking was halfway decent was a non-TCGs, but you can only get like 1 case a month. It's in between MSRP and market. So there is a little bit of meat on the bone. It's not a lot, but that's one other creative way I've been getting inventory.
Yeah, that we can do the exact same thing through Southern Hobbies, really good at that. And ACD kind of throws them out there as well. Buy like $500 in Ultra Pro, because if you buy $500 in Ultra Pro, then you can get access like a case of booster boxes or a couple cases. So I didn't do it because I just didn't feel like getting into it, because I don't like Prismatic Evolution is one of them sets where I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I think that it needs to get in the hands of people, and I think we're getting more to that point in the market where there is getting to be a time for it. But Distro is offering them for $42 a 6-pack booster bundle. Mm-hmm. Not even for me, they were $42 for them booster bundles, 6-pack booster bundles. And then I had to buy $500 worth of Ultra Pro in order to get them at $42 a piece from distribution, which is
that's 80 expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is that I'm going, okay, so you're getting prismatic. So for example, if I look it up, I'll give you the full numbers. Like I said, I like pulling up the full numbers when I'm talking to people about this stuff, what the current market is right now. So if I look up,
I'm gonna guess $54 plus shipping of $10.
Yeah, so you're $44 $42 plus shipping, probably going to be about $44 a piece. Plus, then I got to pay 3% and the shipping to get these things out.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, when they came out, the market dropped all the way down to about $52 a piece. So once
That's
again,
rough.
your market's drinking down to nothing. Now, if I would sit on them like now, they're back up to 59. But there you have to sit on them for more time, which when you're in a cash flow or in a normal business, this is where if you're an investor and got distro, it works great for you because if you're planning on long-term holds, it doesn't matter. You can sit on it for 5 years if you're just thinking it's expendable money and you're just going to throw it in the closet. Who cares? But in a business aspect, it's throughput, right? If you're looking at a true business, you have to have cash flow. You can't just keep putting stuff on the shelf and waiting for the markets to change and get better on it. I mean, if it does sit on there because the markets are just crap when you get it and it sits forever, you can't fix that. But you can't plan on that. You have to be planning on how can you get throughput on this product in order to keep your business afloat, because most people can't just mothball their business. They have overhead, they got operation costs, they got to keep the lights on, they got to pay employees, whatever they got going. So if you're buying those at $42 a piece plus $500 in Ultra Pro,
that part sucks.
That's the other part too, is that I'm going to take $500 in Ultra Pro and I got to try and sell that Ultra Pro in order to, recoup that $500 or maybe make a little money on the Ultra Pro stuff over time, plus sitting on Prismatic to try and sell Prismatic and keep cash flow. It didn't work out for me. I'm like, no, there's just no, I like the idea of having some Prismatic back again, but on the other hand, it doesn't really help. It's not really good for cash flow if I'm actually spending $500 in cash flow. It may take me a couple months to get back. And, buying that Prismatic Evolution 6-pack booster bundles at $42 a piece, which is over MSRP for the product to begin with.
Yeah. And I think this is I never knew this, what you're saying, until probably like a month and a half ago. I forgot who I was listening to. Maybe it's Pokey, maybe it's Nostalgia. I don't know. Pokemart, maybe it was one of these guys. And I always thought, you just get it from distro and then it's always $27 or whatever it is, right? And then wave 2, guess what? $27. And they say, no, the initial one is when you first get it, but then after that, you're not getting it for 27, like you said, 40 something or upper 30s. And so people are wondering, wait a minute, why isn't this guy charging MSRP? You're a bad guy. You're not charging MSRP, but not understanding how it really works. And I was like, wow, okay, so they don't even get it from distro for that price.
No, and that's a catch-22 is a lot of people they don't understand. For example, TCG distribution is really odd. I will say, out of all the companies I work with distribution and work for like wholesalers and things like that, TCG distribution just does what it wants. They don't have any contracts with a lot of these TCG companies. Realistically, Pokemon will charge them more right up front. So they'll charge them more, which then of course gets turned into the customer, or us, the next vendor that goes down the line. Everybody gets an upcharge. And then Pokemon on the next one will charge a little bit more. Distro will charge even more because, well, it's a shortage on that product. It's gone out of our warehouse. Obviously people want it. So we're going to charge sometimes MSRP or above MSRP. Surging Sparks booster boxes. Perfect example. Had to get it from distro at $190. That's over MSRP for Surging Sparks booster boxes when they had the reprint about a month or about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So we had to pay over MSRP to our distro through ACD in order to be able to get that product. And I mean, what do you do? But the thing is that then, you talk to them and it's just like, so I was talking to I have a friend that works at ACD and has worked there for a long time. And he said, the thing is that they're playing ACD and all these distributors are playing a game along with everybody else. They know that there's this much in the market. He told me, basically, we're selling it to you at 80% of market, predicting that the market isn't going to come down to 190, so that you'll still be able to sell it and make a little money. We're going to make big money, but you're going to make a little bit of money as well for pushing this through. And it's like, so your plan is you got a bunch of guys in your marketing department that is literally trying to guess the market value of these TCGs when you're selling them out to LGSs and to people that are purchasing from you, that they're going to make another 20% on top of whatever you sell them to. That it's not going to hit the price we're selling. Why don't you just sell it at 20% markup? Because I guarantee Pokemon did not sell it to them at MSRP. Yeah, I really don't. Yeah. I can guarantee if you look through their billing, there is no way that they sold them Surging Sparks or Surging Sparks booster boxes at $160 a piece. and then they marked it up 20 and they marked it up to 190. And now I'm supposed to mark it up to 120 or 220 in order for me to get profit on it. There's no way they did that. You know that
That's really rough. You know what's crazy? And again, this is as somebody who's new and still learning it, the viewer of me from YouTube side. I still see a Walmart, Target, these kind of places, and their prices will be low. But then the distro side is charging people more. But then Walmart, Costco, these guys, they're paying like next to nothing.
Yeah. And that's just it. I mean, but there again, it's a different side of distribution. So some people don't understand that part of it as well. Your big box stores go through a different branch of distribution. They go through MJ Holding, they go through Exceed or Excel, and they got a different way to get into the big box stores.
Yeah.
And if you're going for like an online business or, you know, an LCS, you're going through one of, there's like 20 or 13 or 14 different distribution companies in the United States on the like LCS and online business side of distribution. So there's different sides of distribution, and that's, it seems like MJ Holding always gets a little must have contracts with Pokemon for pricing. And that's my only guess, is that they must be contracted out somehow, because they consistently hold pretty consistent pricing while our distribution can be all over the place from set to set. I mean, or from reprint to reprint. So seems like MJ Holding, no matter how many reprints we get of something, they hold the same price, while our LCSs are just all over the place, which, or our distributions are all over the place. And it could be just because our distributions are being greedy. I can't tell you for sure, but I would think that they would be less likely to be greedy in this market because of the fact that they're able to move product instantly. They're not storing it like they were a year ago when it was slow time in the Pokemon TCG. So they had to store product for a year and a half at one point in time there. And that wasn't an issue, but they were willing to do deals. But now that it's fast and fluid and moving, where they don't have the warehouse space, why are they all of a sudden upcharging? Which tells me it's coming from Pokemon as well. Pokemon's charging them as much. They don't seem to have the contracts like MJ Holding at least does and Excel does on those product lines when they come through. I have once again, this is all speculatory. I'm not telling you this is how it is. It's just kind of what you see when it comes down to product releases, online stores, and all this stuff, how everybody's fluctuating. You know, you can talk to hear from Danny Phantom from PokeNE, you know, anybody that's got distribution, you're hearing kind of the same story from everybody, that this is what happens. We get one price on the release, and then the next time it's double, or it's MSRP, it's sometimes over MSRP. It just depends on that market, you know, and where we are currently at that point in time. So
crazy world we live in.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make you want to just continue to do Pokemon business.
It makes me think like kind of like an old PokeNE video I used to watch. Like, even if I were to get distro, I wouldn't really fix anything for me anyways. And so then that kind of makes me think like, you know what? I'm not going to get distro. It's probably not going to happen. Let me just keep getting creative and try to find newer, better ways on the market, which is very difficult, but I just got to get more creative. I don't know. What else could I do?
Yeah. And right now it's getting, like you said, it's getting easier. I got people starting to contact me now trying to sell stuff more and more often. You know, before it was 6 months ago, I couldn't have gotten someone to call me with a product to save my life. I mean, if I needed something, I was on an island hoping that I could find something. Maybe you got so bad at some points where it's like, I'm not getting anything from distro, but Walmart's loading up. Do I just go to Walmart and try and, be a scalper and pull this stuff off the shelf and just be done with it? I said, distribution can't get it to me. Yeah. I'm a business. So, why am I sitting here suffering when Walmart's getting thousands of packs and I can't even get a box, Yeah. And I have never gone to that length. Trust me, that thoughts crossed my mind a few times when we were really cut out there at one point in time. Now it's getting better, but it's definitely sucks that you have to go to that mindset at some points in order to potentially fill your coffers and keep things going.
For sure, man. And honestly, buying stuff, I've bought stuff off Discords. I've bought stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure a lot of these people are botting. And do I want to deal with them? No, I really don't. But like, what choice do I have? There is nowhere else to get it. And they're getting the product. And they're getting it at a point where, like, I've bought prismatic booster bundles for like 44 to 45, which is really interesting because you're saying that someone has distro, they offered it to you for like that 43 range shipped. So I'm like, that's the only way, because these guys are getting it, I would assume, off Target, Walmart, these kind of things for like 30. And so then that's how they can settle for like that 45 range and then leave a little bit of meat on the bone. And it's like, dang, I don't think this is how it's supposed to work, man. This is how I
Yeah, I
want to
know.
do it, you know?
Yeah, and that's just it. It shouldn't, like I said, distribution in Pokemon after when I first got distribution back in 2023, because back in 2020, 2021, 2022, you weren't getting into distro. I applied, you're kind of in queue and all these ones looking when they were looking for people. And
Yeah.
then finally, so right after Obsidian Flames, I got into ACD. So right early 2023, I got into ACD finally. And I was like, sweet. Got my first distro. I was already signed up for like 2 other ones, Southern Hobby, all those other, a couple other ones that I had my applications out to, hoping to get into. And then right as Paldean Fates was coming out, I got into Southern Hobby. So I'm like, sweet, I got 2 distros now. I'll be able to grow and move and do what I want, be able to get some more product. And it worked good. Like I said, I'm not going to say it was all bad working with distro.
Yeah.
When the market was normal, when we were actually just kind of moving along and everybody was kind of happy and everything was going well, yeah, distro was good. I mean, I could go and buy, sleeve booster packs at $2 or $3.85 a piece for sleeve blisters and go sell them on TikTok. Then I was doing TikTok streams at that point, really heavy. You go list them up there for, $4.75, $4.50. So, you could get really good money, but you were doing throughput. I was selling thousands of packs. So it's like, because you're staying cheaper than you can get them at Walmart, you'd sit there and crank through them on, your lives. And yeah, I was making 50 cents a pack after I paid all my fees, but 50 cents a pack, but I'm selling 3,000 packs on a rip and ship in 2 weeks. You're
That's
making
good.
up all that. That's
Yeah.
volume. I mean, right?
Yeah.
That's how it used to be, is you didn't have to have huge markups. You ran volume sales, and volume is where you make really decent money in this hobby. From what I've learned thus far, bull markets, unless you've stocked up with a ton of product and you're an investor and you've backed up with a ton of inventory for years, bull markets don't really help you because product disappears from your distribution really quick. And then you got to go up to raising your prices, but you're only getting, like me, a case of sleeve blisters when I was getting 10 cases of sleeve blisters. Now I'm down to a case, so it's like, okay, how much markup do I have to put on those 144 sleeve blisters in order to equate what I was making for, 1,444 of them? I mean, that's
10x, man. You have to mark that sucker up 10 times.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's where you look at this year's, my income this year is way down. Yeah. Because you're able to shoot volume, and volume was really where it was at when you're talking cards, because people come in, they want to open 20, 30 packs.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. They don't want to pay $8, $9 for 20, 30 packs. They'll open 5, 10, maybe 15, if they're really, some really good people that enjoy the hobby will spend that on your streams. But if you can get them down under $5 a pack, again, it's amazing how much volume throughput you can get. You can be cheaper and you can run a lot of volume when you can get the product. And we just can't do that right now.
Yeah, $50 will go a long way with its $5.
Yeah. I mean, you sit there and you figure out the numbers, and it's like I would have to charge almost $15 a pack to make up that volume throughput from what I was at 50 cents. When I was making 50 cents a pack to what I would have to mark them up with what I get right now from distribution, I'd have to sell all my sleeve blisters at like $15 a pack, almost $15 a pack in order to make the same volume.
Yeah, that's gonna be really rough right now.
Yeah, to try and sell sleeve blisters at $15 a pack to try and maintain your income level or your sales levels. It's like, yeah, no, it doesn't happen.
So for me, identifying to what you said earlier today, I briefly experienced it through Mega Base and how quickly people fell out of love with it. I was like, okay. Then Phantasmal, I said, okay, this was even shorter in my opinion. Don't know your experience. And now I'm like, okay, people are already talking about Ascended Heroes. Okay, you know what? There's really nothing till February. Let me try Japanese. And so I did order 40 booster boxes for that. And I'm going to see how that goes. I hope that goes pretty well, because February is really far away. And this is such a small set.
It is. I think it's going to be fairly decent, though, because the hits look all right. There's no Charizards in it, but I think their Gengar is going to be a pretty good chase in that one. There's some really good artwork in the set overall. I haven't really taken a long time to really break it down. I do have ordered Japanese as well with the break.
Nice.
My plan is that Right now, I'm just kind of going to run out of inventory. I'm still going to purchase some things from distribution as they become available, just to kind of keep the inventory, keep them happy. Because I'm gonna, if they offer me something, I will be going through and continue to try and keep that. Don't want to close any avenues or any lanes down right now. You want to keep things open on that
Definitely.
part. But realistically, my marketing plan right now for the remainder of the year is pretty much just kind of continue working through the inventory. I got a lot of the newer sets currently with Destin's Rivals, Journey Together, Phantasmal Flames. I don't have very much Mega left just because I got some of the check lane blisters left. But realistically, I didn't buy any more. I really kind of just stopped because I was feeling the same thing as Scarlet and Violet going into the slower market period, that it was definitely going to be more difficult to sell with Phantasmal Flames coming. But now, with the way, like you said, Phantasmal Flames seems like it died off really fast.
Yeah.
And so I've actually had more people looking for Mega stuff again. So it's like, well,
Really?
maybe I should go back and see if I can get some Mega product. I'm just afraid to do it because I'm afraid by the time I order it, it gets here, that train leaves, and then we're right back to where we don't have those. So,
You know, I was looking at Instagram today, and it's crazy because Ascended Heroes hasn't even come out. Mega Dreams just starting to come out, and I already saw people talking about the set after that and like speculating. And I'm like, guys, can we relax? Like, oh my god, can we enjoy one thing at a time? Like, it feels like Phantasmal Flames came out a long time ago, and it didn't. I can't remember the day. Was it 11th, 14th?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been a long time. Like, everybody relax.
It just became regulation play on Friday.
That's insane.
You can't play it for the first 2 weeks of the set release. You have to, it doesn't become regulation for the first 2 weeks after set release. So it just became regulation on today's tournament that we had. So this is the first time I saw actual Mega or Phantasmal Flame decks, Charizard decks played, was at our this week's Pokemon tournaments. So
that's
first
crazy.
week of Phantasmal Flames in rotation. So now we're going to see, though, this is where we might see some fluctuations depending on how that Charizard set performs.
Yeah.
The Mega Charizard set deck seems fairly good, which is a good thing, which means it might do well here. It just depends on how competitive it is. So if someone builds a competitive Charizard deck at this point in time, we might see Phantasmal Flames kick off again. The TCG does actually kind of drive, because what happens is it starts driving the prices up of the cards. So they'll start driving up the Charizard EX, just a regular one. They'll start driving up the full art. The Arcorial in there might become more valuable. A lot of like the trainers inside the set may also start to become more valuable because they're playable. And when they become playable, that changes how, changes that dynamic to where sometimes sets will get second breath, second life in them. And that's what we're kind of waiting to see. I'm hoping we see it. I think we will. It's just going to be when. And the Charizard decks seem to do very well. So I'm not that good. I'm good at playing, decks, but I'm not good at feeling. I don't play enough to really be able to watch someone else play a deck and go, yeah, this is going to be a killer deck. I'm just not that caliber of player anymore. Back in 2006, I could have told you I was building my own custom decks and going to town, but I could tell you if a deck was going to be good or not by the cards in it. I can't do that anymore. I'm just not that in tune with it any longer. I play casually. I don't even try and do competitive. My son is getting very competitive, and he's starting to actually start understanding more of the stuff than I am at this point. But that's fine. If he's actually having a lot of fun getting into building his own custom decks. He just built a Mega Gardevoir deck when it came out. He's been running a Mega Absol deck. He built that to try it, and now he's building the Charizard deck. Him and I both have building Charizard decks right now. So we're playing with him, but he's definitely trying and moving and shifting and understanding kind of the moves a little bit better than I am at this point in time.
That sounds fun. So I have the Battle Academy bricks sitting over there that we talked about. So yeah, like 2 days ago, I sat the kids down and I said, do you want to learn how to play Pokemon? Because I don't know how to play Pokemon. We tried when I was young. For those wondering, I'm 36, but we tried just messing around and we didn't know what we were doing. So I said, you know what? Today we're going to read it. It was kind of cool. It was like have you ever opened one of those, the Battle Academies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, because I didn't know, you'll get a red book and a yellow book, and then it'll say, do this, step 1, 2, 3. Now it's their turn. So we were actually having a lot of fun with that. It was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting learning how to play Pokemon.
It's fun. I mean, and when you start playing like Battle Academies, like a stage one decks, real simple, easy playthroughs, really easy to understand. They're great. I actually got like 2 bricks of them. I donated them to our local Pokemon League because I'm like, I ain't never going to use them. Once again,
Yeah.
I would have just ended up in my throne of worthless Pokemon cards. So I just donated it to the Pokemon League, and they've been using them. Actually, a bunch of kids come in, they learn how to play on them. They keep the decks together in the boxes. At the we go to the one senior center, and the seniors don't care what's in the box. They don't play with Pokemon, so they leave the boxes alone, and we go through, and the kids play, and they enjoy. They have questions, and then we got a bunch building decks, and they're set. So even our rip and ships, like I put all the cards take all the cards to our local Pokemon League. They go through them. They dig through what they want. Once they go through them, then I'll go through and maybe see if there's anything left to kind of if I get time to sort. I mean, I got a mountain of bulk that I got to go through. The bulk mountain over here that kids didn't want. So basically, whatever I get something, or like people, I always love it when people leave stuff behind the stream, like those poster collections. We opened a bunch of them, and of course, I'll ship the poster if you want it. But most people go, I don't want the poster. Give those to the kids. Kids absolutely love that stuff, like the jumbo cards and things like that. People leave from the streams, we're ripping stuff. The kids just absolutely love it. It's fantastic to see them light up when you leave that stuff behind. But yeah, I mean, that's just it. Battle Academy, great way to learn. If you buy just a standard like battle decks and stuff like that, they work really, really good as well. Once again, they are a great learning tool. They're a pre-made deck. They actually do fairly well, which is good. I mean, they're not like, you're not going to go against like the top competitive people in the world with them, but you're going to be able to go against a lot of people and have some fun, get the understanding. A lot of times, like I tell even my son when he was learning, it's that there's kind of a couple types of decks. There's kind of a rhythmic deck where you're always trying to flip cards, move cards, and you're just a rhythm of trying to move things the way that you want them. And then there's just a straight out blunt deck where you're like trying to get the heaviest Pokemon as fast as you can just to start beating things. There's different kind of feels for each deck, and it's good to get a couple battle decks sometimes if your kids are interested in it. Get a couple of those Steam decks. They're like what, $12 at Walmart. They're always sitting around there. They're the only thing left on the Walmart shelves typically.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Exactly.
Yeah, and go grab a couple of those and just try them out, because a lot of times, and play each other and try them out, because that way you get a feel for how different decks play, and then you start getting that understanding for how that all works.
I have one more thing I need you to explain to me.
Uh-oh.
I got sent this from my mother because she couldn't find Pokemon, but she wanted to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
but she wanted. Mm-hmm. She wanted the kids to get Pokemon, but she didn't know this isn't like the right one. What is? You ever seen this? I don't even know.
Yeah, no, they're trainer toolkits. That one isn't exactly the best one. There were some better ones back in the past that had some really good trainers and stuff inside of them. Plus, the packs in them were really decent as well. Trainer toolkits, they're good if you're looking for the essentials to like build a deck and get like the basic trainers, energies, and the sleeves and that kind of stuff, counters. All of that are in it, but realistically, most of those are not really, they're really not useful for actual building a deck or getting an actual built deck, because I think there's loose packs in there as well. It's hard to build a deck. I think if you read it, I think there's like 4 or 6 loose packs in there as well. iFOMO, I was just going to say that. I just saw his thing, so I'm going to put it up. I got another one I'm going to put up for my FOMO too. He had a good question up behind. Are they not profitable, broke apart anymore? Some of them are, some of them are not. So there were some in the past, and once again, as ages, even the ones that were profitable before are not profitable now, because the trainer cards aren't as useful any longer. So like Fusion Strike, so the one trainer toolkit, I believe the 2022 trainer toolkit had the Judge card in it from Fusion Strike.
Oh,
and that card was like $4 a card, and there was like 5 of them or 6 of them inside of the trainer's toolkit. So that's where trainers can sometimes have value, but now that Judge card is like 10 cents because it's no longer a playable card. It's moved out of rotation, or it's just not as functional as it was during the Fusion Strike with the Genesect Mew deck when that was being used a couple years ago. So yeah, they can be valuable broken apart. I think the Fezidente, there's the Fezidente EX inside of there. That card in that trainer's toolkit, I believe that's in that one. And if it is, I think that's like probably the most valuable card right now in there.
I see it. So I Googled what's inside of this. It says it's 2-pack of Destined Rivals and 2 packs of Mega Base.
Okay. So I was going to say, I thought that there was 4 packs inside of those. And I'm trying to remember, because there's the Fezidente card, and I believe the Fezidente card right now is like a $4 card. So that's another one. It's very playable. It's playable in a lot of decks currently at this point in time. So once again, if it's playable, if there's playable cards in there, then you can sometimes break that down and find profit in them. We used to do that back in like 2022. Break them down because they were sitting around on shelves forever, but people didn't realize that there was actual playable cards that had value if you had TCG Player to, roll them cards out of there quickly.
Yeah, I need to learn which cards are playable because I collected a lot of Black Bolt, and then my friend's like, "Do not throw away the red balloon." And I was like, "What's the red balloon?"
Yeah,
And he's
the
like,
big red balloon.
Yeah, he's like, "It's a common card. It's worth $1 on TCG." He's like, "I sell them all day." So I was like, "Okay." I have like 70 of those, and one day I'll sell them.
Yep. Boss's Orders, another big one. Always carry Boss's Orders because all decks have them. Professor's Research. Very, very common card when it comes down to it. Right now, Lily's Determination is a huge card going up in value, and Night Stretcher. Buddy Puffin, another one. Really, really popular. Very common card, but it's like $1.25 a card. So, and that's where a lot of times if you start playing more, you'll understand why those cards become valuable.
Yeah.
For the playable side of things. So, but yes, that's definitely, it's really not good to learn to play. I would always suggest going and buying like the battle decks. They got the built-in battle, or not built-in battle, but the battle decks on the shelves. Them are really, really good to learn how to play on, and then they give you a good diversity for different style decks. So you can get electric decks, steel decks, fighting decks. You can try different forms, and it gives you kind of a feel for how each one runs as well. So it's fun. I mean, there's some good ways just to build some decks and have some fun with that.
Team Rocket Joey, my man.
Team Rocket Joey in the house. This is another one before we get too far down the line that I started from iFOMO. He's put on here. So Andy, would you recommend distro for someone running a sealed business, or is there a better way? Right now, it depends on the market. That's probably the best way that I could say that. Currently, right now, is there a better way? Honestly, putting out feelers on Instagram, just as DJ does over here, put feelers out on Instagram, talk to people, Craigslist, whatever, saying that you're willing to pay 70 to 80% of market, and you can probably find enough of the stuff right now to keep yourself busy. But in slower markets where you're really fighting down to that MSRP number and sometimes under MSRP in order to get sales or consistent sales, distribution becomes your biggest ally at that point in time. That's when it kind of shifts, is that when the markets are a little bit slower, and you're not able to really drive these markets, then distribution usually loads up with product because there's not as many people selling, and you can get it under MSRP, and it gives you that leeway. So that's where we always say booster boxes usually do have a floor. Most people don't like want to argue that there's no floor to any product in the Pokemon TCG. But realistically, most companies will farm a bit of a loss, but overall losses are not, people will at least break even typically when they're selling things. So even like distribution will go down to like 99. So early Scarlet and Violet, during Black Friday, they would do like $85 for like Obsidian Flame because they were trying to get rid of it at that point in time. That back in 2023, they were doing like $5. But you can do, and we could go way down a rabbit hole about farming losses and how you can take a loss on a product and deduct that off your tax returns. If you've got, you could play so much loss in a year on products that you purchase that you can say, okay, I didn't make money on this in retail. I can write that off on my taxes as a loss. There's ways to do that. Talk to your accountant if you have one. Much better preferred. That's how I do it. But so you will see people go from like an LCS sell stuff at a loss. They know they're taking a loss, but they're also doing it strategically, and they can't do it forever. Because you can't lose 100% all year round and be able to survive as a business. It's just not functional. But most of the time, whatever you pay to your, whatever they're paying to distro, add whatever their fees are, that is typically where your bottom floor is for most products. And if you can buy around that edge, you know that you're probably doing fairly well on those products, and there's probably going to be some growth in it in the near future as products get scarce. So
Do you do eBay or TCG, or you just only distro?
Well, I have my website, so we got NorthwoodsCCG.com. I have TCG Player, so we take I haven't used TCG Player now for probably about a year. I kind of let her go into mothballs because I just got tired of sorting bulk because I was so busy with rip and ship and, other things that I just didn't have the time to get to it. But yeah, I have TCG Player, and then I also do like graded cards and stuff on eBay as well. I was doing TikTok. TikTok was my big sale, but then all of a sudden TikTok got mad at me and kicked me out apparently for something that was 2 years old, couldn't prove anything, and basically they were found out they were kind of cleaning out a lot of smaller shops at that point in time. So
That's
that got
unfortunate.
yeah, that got to be a real that got to be a real fiasco. But that's why I'm ripping and shipping on YouTube now. It was actually no offense to YouTube, it was easier on TikTok because the shop is there. People can just click the button right on your live and go and purchase products without leaving your live.
That's pretty
But
cool.
being on YouTube, it's a little bit more difficult because they have to go to an outside site, an outside source, and then they have to come back in. So, and that's one of the downsides to YouTube, because when someone leaves a live, there's a chance that they just won't come back. They get to the shop and they're not listening to the live, and then they just kind of disappear. We've seen that from time to time as well.
Yeah. So a lot of people DM me on Instagram and an email. They're like, dude, you gotta try Whatnot. And I'm like, dude, I looked at Whatnot. I don't like it, man. I don't know.
I
But they
won't.
claim they make tons of money. Like people will overpay for packs, but I don't like the pace of it, It's too fast.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's the pace of it's not one thing. The other part of it too is this. There's so many scams on that site. I mean, so many proven scams over time. I just don't like associating with it all that much.
Yeah.
Once again, you may not be doing it, but to me, it's always that feeling of guilty by association, just because you're in a place that's been known and had hundreds of scams, even thousands of scams over the last even 6 months.
Yeah.
And do you really want to have your name associated with that? I
Right.
personally have not, and that's kind of why I've had them, like the TikTok agents, even or Whatnot agents, actually message me like, hey, I get emails. I was getting emails from them. I was getting messages from them on like Instagram and on TikTok, trying to scalp me and bring me into Whatnot. We'll be an agent for you. We'll get you set up. We'll do all this stuff. We'll get the referrals and we'll do all these things. And it's like, yeah, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't. Could never bring myself to pull the trigger on it. I guess my self-worth is a little bit higher, and I want to keep a little prestige around my name and the Northwoods TCG brand, that I just can't do it. I mean, I could do everything
respect that.
100% right. I could do it 100% right. No questions asked. I would do everything 100% right. But the fact of the matter is that I'm on a station that is 100% associated with scams. And it's like, yeah, I can't do it. I
That's
can't bring
rough.
myself to
Yeah.
associate with that.
No,
So that's
definitely.
just me personally.
And I think YouTube, if you work on it long enough, like it's respectable, like having a YouTube channel, like you said, having a brand, it's better for sure. Whatnot, it's just like I don't even know one Whatnot streamer. I don't know how there's probably people with hundreds of thousands of followers, never heard of them, and I probably never will. And they're just like in their own island doing their own thing. But like YouTubers, I'll know for sure, and you might see them at like a conference or whatever. And there's definitely like a more prestige to that, a trustworthiness. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's just it. I'm most of the time, and YouTubers are no different. It just seems like Whatnot has got this weird stigma about it, and the real problem with it being, and they're like major, like big scammers on there that we're all found out with the whole deal on that. And that's the thing is that they're scamming everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. As everybody, well, like TikTok's all full of scammers. Like, yeah, TikTok protects the buyers pretty heavily though too. So it's really difficult for someone to scam you on TikTok. I'm not saying it's impossible. There's ways to do it. But there again, I mean, if they've got a place that's got like all these 5-star reviews and been around for like a year, you got pretty good comfort in that they're following the rules of TikTok, because TikTok can get pretty strict on how they operate. And they do protect the customers really heavily when it comes down to it. So even like if you sell on TikTok, when you had to have a reserve. So basically, when you were selling products, they would keep a percentage back until you filled a reserve for like your nightly sales. So you always had a reserve of money behind. So basically, if you were to skip town, scam somebody, they would have money to replace or send that money back to these customers. So they would take what your average stream was, or your nightly live or whatever your nightly weekly sales were, and they would build a reserve of like 50% of that behind, so you couldn't get that money until you either stop streaming, or if you stop for a long period of time, it would slowly distribute that money out as your averages dropped. A lot of people hate that, but for me, that just tells you that the company is doing something to show, hey, we're protecting our customers, because if you want to sell with us, you're going to lose some money. You're going to put some money in this game. You're not going to run away. So if you're doing $1,000 streams, you're going to have a $500 reserve. to make sure that you're, doing this. Or if you got a $10,000 stream, you're going to have a $5,000 reserve. I mean, that's just business with them. And if you stop selling within a month, you'll get that money back, as long as you don't scam anybody and as long as you don't get a bunch of returns and you ship the product. But
that's respectable.
Yeah, I think it's respectable. Some people, like I said, sell on there, hate it, and sit there and get mad about it. But it's like, why are you worried about that? I mean, you if you know it's there, you're going to build it into your business model. You know that's coming, so you're going to build up for that. Yeah. Number two, it's just security for your customers. So if you're not going to do anything wrong and you're happy with how you're performing and you know your performing's good, your customer has security and you should feel better about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, something I keep getting hit about I shouldn't say hit up about is these Paldean Fates collection boxes. I don't know if you've seen those. People are trying to offload those like crazy right now. Crazy.
Paldean. Which version of it?
What's the new one? Start with a G. What's that Pokemon? It's an 11 pack. That's collection. Can't think of the Pokemon's name. Starts with the G. Was it G? One moment. Let me look.
I gotta say, because I've been getting like the like Waco and the Scourge, and been seeing them come around. They're like $127, $160 right now on TCG Player.
Tusk boxes. I'm sorry, Tusk boxes.
Oh, Tusk box? The tins or the box?
No, it's big. It's like the size of the Sam's Lucario, like huge. The Great Tusk, maybe. Yeah,
I know. They 11 packs.
Huge. Man, I am getting hit up like constantly on those. I don't know why. All of a sudden, emails, everything. Like people trying to sell them for like 110, but I'm like, dude, that's expensive. I don't know.
Right here.
I don't know if there's any profit to be made.
That I don't know. You know, that's where I don't know on those particular boxes, because there's 11 packs in it right now.
Yeah.
So there's 11 packs inside of that product. And once again, here's my mindset on it, is I'm always looking at Paldean Fates right now is going for $13.68 a booster pack. I know you can sell them pretty consistently on stream at about $12.50 right now. Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll fly at $12.50. So there, I mean, if you got 11 of them, I mean, you're going to be right around that $130 range on value right there. Yeah, he's saying the Great Tusk Roy is. So Gardevoir was the one I was thinking of as well. But yeah, that's like I said, that's one of the ones though that I don't see any Paldean Fates reprints coming. We had a small reprint of it, and I had a lot of people freak out when that reprint happened there about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. We got a bunch of I got a bunch of the tins, and the Techno Bliss or packs came out as well. So the Techno stickers. So we had them come through. I never got any, but I know that they were available at one point about 3 weeks ago. That's when the Prismatic Evolution 6-pack bundles came out as well. They were all kind of in the same time frame. People freaked out. I don't know if there were YouTubers spreading something or saying things, and people are still losing their mind on it. I'm not 100% sure on that, because it got pretty hairy for Paldean Fates there for a little bit, where people are like contacting you, but they didn't want to give it away for anything less than like 90% value. So they were trying to still max value on it, but they were like contacting you trying to ditch it. And I'm like, why are you trying to ditch Paldean Fates? It's so underprinted and so in demand for that Bubble Mew right now.
Yes.
With no sign. It's going out of rotation now. So they're probably not going to go back. That reprint 6 weeks ago was probably the reprint. So whatever's on the market for Paldean Fates that came out, it's probably out. We probably will not be seeing more at this point in time. That's just my feelings. I can't prove that, but once again, it's going out of rotation. So in April, it'll be done. So why all of a sudden? Yeah, I know it's hard to believe that the first, all the way from base set to Paldean Fates, is all rotating out at this point in time. So that whole group is done for playability.
For me, it's tough because it's something you mentioned earlier, is like the investor versus the business. I have a decent bit of investments. I have like a spare room for my investment Pokemon, but I'm trying to work on the business. So I'm like, okay, on one hand, because I have to buy minimum like 100 to get it to 110 off people. And that's what they're trying to sell me, which I'm like, God, man, I could, but then I don't think I'll be able to sell it comfortably for market, because what's the point of buying it for me then? You could just buy it off TCG, so I'd really have to sell it to people for 120, and then it's like, but on the other hand, I know if I sit on them, then wow, man, there's probably gonna be like 150 a box. But I'm also trying to avoid the investment side because I already have so much in investments. I'm really trying to focus on the business. That's where I'm kind of like in the middle of it.
Yeah. And that was the hard transition that I had is that now I always have two different windows right now currently out there where, like I talked to you beforehand, I didn't know, I wanted to make sure that we were kind of talking about the same thing because I get people on here that want to talk about investment and really heavy in the investment side of the Pokemon TCG. And then I got people that are really heavy into just wanting to talk about the market and talk about, business side of things. And that's where I kind of asked you at the beginning to see where you kind of, I watched a bunch of your channel just to see where you kind of were. And most of your stuff was all just business based and growing your business. So that's where I kind of figured we'd go with it tonight on that part. But yeah, with the investment side, for me switching over, because 2019 I got back in. 2019 I started investing. I started putting booster boxes away before the boom. Started building a collection because I thought, Hidden Fates, all these sets are going to be really, really good. Take team sets, all this stuff was going to be really good. And the market was doing really good, on its own, naturally, just going up really well. I mean, you were seeing good growth and not crazy. It wasn't like, what we seen in 2020. And it's not what we saw here for the last year, where a box would go from $80 booster and you buy it at $85 and it would be $300 in a year. That's not what we were seeing, but you would still see an $85 booster box, buy it, and it would be $100 in 2-3 months, after it goes out a little bit and it's playable and all the other stuff. But overall, the hardest part for me was when I started really focusing on rip and shipping. I started focusing on business. Then it's like, okay, now I have to start making 2 accounts. I have to start separating, when I buy something, am I buying this with the intention of an investment? Like you're talking about, do I buy the Great Tusk box and use that as an investment? Or do I, try and sell this and flip it and buy it with the business? And then with the intention of flipping this as fast as I can. What's the best option? And now I'm to the point where the last 8 months has actually made it easier, where it's like, okay, everything's just flipped. I'm not investing anything. The market's too high as it is. I don't want to hold it for very long just because, you know what, if I'm going to buy something or if I'm getting something from distribution at this point in time, I'm going to try and resell it onto this market and make my money on it right now. Because I feel like when it slows down, there's going to be plenty of time to go back and buy this stuff rather than, buying into the hype and buying into the FOMO in the market and potentially having it collapse back on yourself. That wasn't something that I was really into. And watching a lot of investment channels telling people to just keep buying into the market because, hey, Pokemon's going to be expensive. It always goes up. It always goes up. It's like, yeah, but there's still opportunity costs. So it might go up. If it goes to $400, the market crashes, it goes back down to 200. Yeah, it didn't hit MSRP, but you bought it at 400 at the peak of the market. Now you're $200 down. How many years are you going to sit with a product $200 down with the hype?
Yeah.
People are saying Twilight Masquerade is a sleeper set. Twilight Masquerade is not out of reprint range yet. A lot of people don't understand that it is only a year old, currently right now. It's going to be 2 years old, right? I think because that came out in 2024. So it'll be 2 years old coming up here in May of 26. So it's still playable. It's still in rotation. We are not through the reprints of that era. We could get a massive booster box reprint of Twilight Masquerade right now. And are people going to be interested in buying it? Look at the ETBs. What happened to the ETBs? ETBs were $85. We just got a massive dumping of Twilight Masquerade ETBs. And I think right now they're $60. So there again, if you bought them at 85 thinking they were a sleeper set, you're going to make big money. These are going to go up, and then they get a reprint. Now you're down, upside down on them because of a reprint or the market changes. How many years could these Twilight Masquerades ETBs sit before they become valuable again? That's the real question you have to ask yourself when you're buying into the hype and FOMO of the market.
That's a good question. I think I have sold 1 Twilight Masquerade. I think maybe 1. That's it.
I got a case of 10 and I've got 9 of them left.
Yes, that's right.
Another investment.
Yeah, I don't really have people asking for that one. I do like the Greninja, but I mean, that's really it, I guess.
I was gonna say that's all it's in the set.
Yeah, everything else, $10.
I was gonna say there isn't anything. It's kind of like Shrouded Fable, and this is why I kind of went away from investment since basically I always talked about investment. I always used to do a live talking about investment, talking about all these things, what's good to buy, what you should be holding on to. The second this happened, a lot of people started even asking me, what would you invest in this? Why aren't you doing investment? You're not talking about what to invest in. You don't buy into a booming market. You should have already bought in, and then you wait for the market to die. You wait until the market comes back for a correction, and then you buy into the correction. Because if you're buying into the boom, you're leading yourself into the potential of running into a wall and then crashing with it. Is it really worth that question? I might miss things. I 100% knew in the last 10 months, I guarantee, or last year, that I have missed opportunities. Guarantee it. The risks of those opportunities were not worth taking. There was no reason to do that, because now you could wait for them prices to come back down. We're watching a lot of these booster boxes losing 10, 15% of their value right now.
Yeah.
Once again, they're coming back down. And if they come back down even close to, $200 where they all were when we were buying them, for where you would have been buying them for investment, did I miss? Or did I put my money someplace else where it might have been more successful during that time period, or banked up and got ready for this? Selling into the market. I was selling into this market, and Team Rocket Joey and I talked about that when we were back in September. I was selling out heavy. I mean, this shelf was full, and it completely emptied out for my investment stuff that I was displaying and showing, because I was banking cash. I'm like, this market's going to shift.
Smart.
It's going to. I mean, why not bank up for the shift? And
Yeah.
then when it dumps or drops, even if it doesn't crash, if it starts going down, start playing the cost dollar average game. Run it down all the way. Prismatic, yeah, it's going to get reprints. So I think Prismatic's going to be $140 booster or ETB in another year or two. Absolutely. I think it's going to go right back, no matter how much they print that set. I think there's enough investors right now out there that are going to force that set to always come back over $100. It's never going to fall behind under $100 for very long. And if you buy down, if it goes down to like $100, you start buying Prismatic and you chase it all the way down to MSRP. In 2 years, I don't think you're going to regret it. There's just no reason to.
I agree.
There's no reason to be buying it when it was at 110, 120, 130, 140. Why are you chasing it up? Chase it down. Because at least if you're chasing down, you're bringing your average price for ETB down. If you're going the other direction, you're helping yourself by going down. You're hurting yourself by going up, because you're increasing the sales point you have to make on boxes as you're chasing up.
That's good advice. I know in 10 days, so December 9th, Sam's Club nationwide is supposed to have a Prismatic ETB sale for $50. So I'm hoping I pick up some Prismatic for under $100. So I'm hoping.
I just picked up 2 at Dollar General for $40.
Oh, that's real. I heard about that.
Yep. They had them at they had 4 of them there. I grabbed 2 of them for $40. The only thing I don't like about it is it's got the stupid yellow Dollar General sticker in the corner, but
of course,
you can't get rid of it. It's not a sticker. It's actually printed onto the cardboard.
Really? So it's like a Dollar General exclusive?
Yeah. Yep. So it's $40 Dollar General exclusive, but it actually has it printed on the box. So it says $40 in a big yellow Dollar General tag on it. So I said, I'm probably going to tear it apart and take the tax out of it.
Oh, wow. I'd never do that.
FOMO out of it. Yeah, I was like, when I looked at it, I'm like, I hope that's a sticker. Please be a sticker. Nope. Got branded. I FOMO exactly.
I never knew that.
Yep, they do that with Dollar General. If it's sold Pokemon products through Dollar General, the only exception are mini tins. But if they're selling like the collection boxes, if they're selling anything that's like on a box form, like ETBs, tins, even the little they had like the Halloween or the stackable tins. Their logo is actually printed onto the tin. You can't get rid of it.
Who do you think does that? Dollar General or like the manufacturer?
It's got to be Pokemon. Pokemon has to be doing that.
They're making the box. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's got to be done in the print facility. So it's not. It doesn't. I looked at it. I don't know. I can't feel anything where they like reprinted, because I'm like, well, did they just reprint over the box? And I've looked at it because I've gotten some of the ETBs, and I'm like, man, if I could get rid of that, but it's under the plastic, so I'm like, I'm already screwed. So I got to open it to get to it anyways. But I was feeling it through the plastic, and it's absolutely smooth. You can't get that out. You can't. I don't think you can get that off there.
I wonder what Dollar General is paying if they're able to afford to sell that for $40. That's
I know.
cheap.
That's really cheap, but Yeah, I mean, even at distribution prices, typically a specialty set is $42, and we sell them at 60. I mean, typically through distribution, so 38 to 42, depending on the set. So, like Shroud of Fable was 38. Paldea and Fates was $38 an ETB at that one point.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice when it is actually working. When it works out, like I said, distribution's good when it's working. But right now, with it kind of broken, it's kind of a pain.
Have you tried Magic at all for your store?
I can't get I have a friend that has an LGS that I get Magic from, so he sells it to me at cost. I have tried some. Really, the sets are just so hit or miss. So like now I've got some Avatar play boosters, and I got like some of the collection boosters, and they really kind of just sit around. I got Lorcana now, so Lorcana I can get through ACD. So I've been getting some Lorcana. So I've got like Raina Jafar and Whispers in the Well, so the newest one for that. One Piece. So I've been getting some One Piece. That's actually selling fairly good. I got some people in the stream that really enjoy One Piece, so that does fairly well in the streaming side of things. Blitzkrieg had
or
what's that?
Is that OP13?
OP13 is I got that. I have OP12, 11 or 10, 12, and 13. I don't have 11 right now. So in sleeve blister forms for OP. Got a couple other ones. Dragon Ball Z. Sometimes I get some people. I like Dragon Ball Z. I think it's a cool set, especially the current one that's out there now. So, but yeah, there's Gundam. Blitzkrieg had me get Gundam, and he hasn't bought it yet. Blitzkrieg, see you in the chat.
Oh, really?
All right, I'm pinning you up. He wanted Gundam, and I got
buy
this. Go buy it now. So. No, so I've got some other TCGs too. I've been testing them just to see how well they perform. Lorcana, I'm not afraid to buy more. You know, if I get Lorcana is definitely one that I don't mind keeping around. It does fairly well, and OP does really well. Magic, really slow. Part of it might be is that, you know, from what I'm looking at it, the collection boosters are probably more what I should be buying for the rip and strips. Just because the collection boosters have the better chances of hits, and of course the serialized cards inside of them if they do have serialized cards. Play boosters, they have a hollow in each one, but there's really not a guarantee to get any it's harder to get better hits in the play boosters. Once again, it's not understanding the TCG. Some people, you got to understand somewhat the TCG, and I've been so out of touch with Magic I haven't even gone near Magic because I looked at playing again. And my buddy's just like, oh, yeah, here, because he plays Magic. And he's like, yeah, you can buy these cards and you can build a competitive Magic deck. So I'm doing, I'm going all in. I mean, I'm not going to go and half-ass this thing. I'm going to go for the gusto and try and have a playable competitive deck. And it's like, well, here's the cards you need to have a competitive deck. Cool. $1,480. You're kidding, right?
Ooh.
I'm like,
oh my.
ooh, no. Yeah, I'll stick with Pokemon. Thanks. I can build a deck for $72, man.
Yeah, dude. The reason I ask is because when things were getting really, really hard to get inventory, somebody was like, hey, you should try out Magic on the store. So I tried a little bit, and then the entire market collapsed because Spider-Man was this huge failure. And I bought it for a decent price, to be honest. But now Amazon is undercutting all of Magic, and I'm like, dang it. So I guess I'll just hold on to it all.
Yeah, I ended up opening all the Spider-Man. I've got Avatar Last Airbender, but I've been because you can't get it from distribution. I can't get Magic from distribution. I do not have a brick and mortar. So you have to have a brick and mortar in order to get Magic from distribution. So I do not have a registered brick and mortar. I don't have a sales site, so I can't get Magic the Gathering to sell. But there's a guy in LGS that I know that I've worked with for a long time, and I've been buying. He sells them to me at cost, and I've been just taking small samplers to see, okay, will this do well? Will this one not? Is there any interest? You know, at least if I got it, I'm okay buying, like, I got 15 airbenders. I've got, like 12 of the Eternals, and I've got, 7 of the Final Fantasy left there. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm willing to try that just in small quantities. And if it hits off, I could always go back and get more from him. I mean, he'd be willing to work me a deal to get some decent numbers if we saw the volume to make it make sense. But as of right now, Magic is just not been good. Not been good on the secondary market sale. And Magic keeps shooting themselves in the foot because they do these great sets like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and it's like no serialized cards. They did Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man, like every player hates the Spider-Man because there's no way to work it into your deck. You have to build a Spider-Man deck. So even for like your cards, there's like spider cards, like previous spider cards that you could use like a Spidey sense to like think about pulling like card. They could have done things to build it into the thing, but it's like they literally just made a standalone Spider-Man deck. So that's why a lot of people take it that serialized cards were the reason that the Spider-Man set failed. The Spider-Man set failed for a couple reasons. Number one is the playability of it was nearly impossible to incorporate it into your current deck. So it's not like you're going to take your $20,000 Magic the Gathering deck and incorporate some Spider-Man cards into it and still make it playable. No, you were going to have to rebuild a whole Spider-Man deck. Not too many people want to build a brand new deck just to play a Spider-Man set. That's just not something that goes really well in Magic the Gathering. Number two, it really doesn't fit into the whole feel of the Magic the Gathering, so you can't use like one guy's like, well, they have spider trap cards, but I can't summon the spider trap cards with a Spider-Man card. Wouldn't you think that you would have a Spidey card with Spidey sense and pull your, trap cards for your spider? Like, yeah, you would think that they would incorporate the spider thing, the spider theme into the. So he's just like, he's a big player, and he's just like, no, they did nothing. This set is garbage. He said you can't do anything for playability. They didn't do serialized, so no collector really cares because there's no serialized chase inside of Spider-Man. And overall, even the ones I've opened, they're just kind of blah. I mean, they're like they like made the set as cheap and easy and quick as they could. So it's like not even a real decent Venom card in it. There's really no, there's like hollows of like Gwen and all the other characters, but yeah, it's just kind of a disaster. And Airbender, the same thing. They didn't do serialized cards in it.
Too bad. Big opportunity.
They do, and I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody about Airbender. If it's incorporated into the decks again, or is this another standalone deck where you're going to be building a Airbender deck in order to be able to play it? So,
all right, question for you. Yeah. Let's say somebody's got $5,000. They're watching Northwood TCG. They want to start a Pokemon business. What would you say to them?
Sit on it.
Fair
Sit on the money. The thing is, I don't know what you started with when you started your business. $5,000 seems like a lot of money, but realistically, it's not. Back in 2020, it was capable with me doing the investment and then running into the whole market. So I basically put in like $4,000, bought a bunch of different booster boxes and stuff. At $85, you could buy a decent amount of booster boxes with that. And then ran into the boom, which really accelerated my investment. That's the only reason I really had the money to really keep moving and growing really quickly. A lot of us that started in 2019 just ran into opportunity more than, skill. It was more of just the opportunity in the market fell in our laps and we took advantage of it when it was there. But if I was going to do anything in the Pokemon TCG with $5,000 and really consider looking at growing a business or doing something with a business at this point in time, I would honestly start looking at grading cards. It's probably going to be my first move at this point in time. If you get some skill, learn how to pre-grade fairly well and be able to take that time and get some 10s and start building an inventory of that, you can use GameStop, a really cheap alternative rather than paying for like PSA, paying their membership and all that. I would skip that because then you got to do large bulk orders. You can start off really, really low, find some really cheap singles out there right now because there are some really low price singles right now that you can grade them for $20 right now, pay $2 for the cards, be $22 into them. If they get a 9, you'll be at $30 to $35 currently. And you're going to make a little bit of money, if not break even at that point. Or if you can get 10s, they'll sometimes go in 5x them. You'll get 110, 120, even up to $200 for some of those. So great opportunities in the grading market if you take your time and really do your research and understand how to really pre-grade cards. There's some really good videos out there on how to do it and the proper way to pre-grade your card. But that would be a good way to start rolling your money and starting to build that nest egg that you're really going to need if you want to move into the sealed market and stuff like that. Because as you probably know, sometimes you have to have a pretty good lump sum of cash around for sealed market.
Definitely.
Because you get people that come up and the worst part is that even buying collections, a lot of times with collections, it's all or nothing. someone will walk up to you with a great collection and they want to sell all of it and they don't want to sit there and break it off. And well, I really want those right now. And then I've tried that. I'll take these right now and then I'll sell those and then I'll get you for the rest of it. No, they want to move it now. And so when that happens, you got to have some lump sum of money. 5,000 seems like a lot, but it really isn't when you're talking sealed product, especially now in today's market. And it's really going to limit you to your capabilities. So I think personally, my focus right now, if I was starting a business, would be grading. Get really good at grading. You don't need a lot of space. You can do it in a really small room or a desk and just really focus on that. And you can do really well on that.
That's a good advice, because I'd say in boxes alone, when I first got my Uline, was probably with bubble wrap about $900. Just the boxes, not even like started inventory, nothing else.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. I mean, you don't realize the overhead, that you can inventory, how much cost you have in inventory. Because my wife the other day, so I try and keep everything kind of in Pokedata, or I got a couple like apps that I kind of track things. So number one, I can track my investments, part of it. Number two, I can track my inventory and see value wise how I'm doing on those kind of sites. So Pokedata.io is a really good one that I've been
look at that
for years. And it's really good to build up. You can keep track of your graded cards, your singles, and all that sealed product and all that. The nice thing is like my wife sat there and 56. Thank you so much for the $5 giveaway, or for the $5 chat. Greatly appreciated.
Shout out to 56.
56. Thank you so much. The one thing is that when you're looking at inventory, you're looking at cost. My wife was just like, if anything happened to you, how would I know what to do? I said, number one, talk to Jacob. He knows where all my stuff is. Because my son is like right here, been with me since he was 6 years old, just growing and doing stuff with Pokemon TCG. And she was the one time she's like, yeah, I could turn it right here. And it's one of the funny ones is this. So if I turn that way right there, she was looking at the shelf and she's like, I see nothing of value on there. And I'm like,
oh, no.
Said, right there. I said, oh, she's like,
oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that? And I'm like, she's just like, well, what do you mean that's value? And I said, right there, each one of those are $2,500 a piece. I said, you got 10 grand sitting on that one shelf right there. And I said, there's 2 more of them in the safe. So I said,
nice.
So I'm like, yeah, the problem is like she said, she doesn't know the value of it, but it's like most people don't understand the value. I'm trying to fix my camera now and I mess with it. People don't understand that, like she walks into here and she's just like, man, there's just so much stuff. But she said, I don't see any money. All I see is, Pokemon cards. And it's like, yeah, you don't realize that in this little room right here, I have like $60,000 sitting in this room at like all times. And it's a little 8x8 room. She's just like, she looks at me and she's like, I would have no idea. I said, just ask Jacob. He knows how to get in the Pokedata. He'll give you all the prices for everything. And I said, he'll show you how to put it on TCG Player. He knows how to sell it all. If anything happens to me, he'll probably end up getting you like 50, 60 grand out of this room.
Hey, that's good, because somebody else might come in and think, hey, yard sale, junk, move it all, take it.
Well, that's what I told her. I said, don't think about giving this stuff away for free. Don't let anybody come in and lowball you.
Right, like this guy. He just gave you dono.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Dog and water. Thank you so much for the $1.99. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I'll give her 60%. Exactly. But no, I mean, and that's the fact is though, and if you have a significant other, I would highly suggest making an Excel sheet. I like Pokedata. She's got the username and password. She can go into it whenever she wants. But that way, if because that's the bigger problem is if you have someone else that you got a spouse or a significant other that's part of your life, they have no idea what this stuff's worth. To them, it's a garage sale find, and they don't see the value of these, the stuff that we sometimes have, unless they're in the hobby with you. I mean, that's the other part is if they're in the hobby with you, then of course they understand it. But a majority of us don't seem to have. They have enough recognition to understand that there's a lot of, potential money here, but they don't understand how or how much. And I would always suggest getting something like that. Pokedata.io is a good one just because it shows them current market values and it shows them fluctuations. So they have a real-time pricing on it so that they're not getting like dog and water coming over going, I'll give you 50%. He knows 50% of the value of what I got. And go, yeah, well, I'll give you, $500 for that Gym Hero box right now, type deals. I mean, those are the things that could happen though, if they don't know how to handle it. So
Absolutely.
Never, heaven forbid anybody. I mean, maybe it's just me getting in my 40s now. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to be around forever. I should probably plan on something happening just in case.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, honestly, you never know. And if you guys watch Pokemon Classics, he's a perfect example of it, where you just don't know, when things could happen. So that's a tough one, and you don't ever plan on it happening, but it's definitely good to have the plans in place in case it does.
Something to think about.
It is. So, but yeah, no, it's just one of those things. You got a lot of inventory, and it takes years to build up this inventory. It's not something that $5,000 is really going to get you. Like you said, you're going to spend $1,000 just on your setup. I mean,
Yeah.
by the time you buy a decent table, you go and buy, bubble wrap, boxes, and all the infrastructure, shipping, a printer, or a good label printer, those kind of things. I mean, you're going to be $1,000 into it before you even buy a Pokemon product. So I mean,
Yeah.
So
Nothing.
yeah. Honestly, what would you do if you had $5,000? I don't know where you started at, but if you had $5,000 right now, what would be the direction on how you would start this?
I think you convinced me on the grading. If they could get disciplined enough to do that, probably singles. But I don't like singles myself. But that's probably what I would do at that point. I like the sealed product, but you wouldn't have enough money for sealed, I think, because like I said before, I opened the store, which was just a couple months ago. It was like 5 or 6 months of buying collections, and I probably spent like 25,000 just on that. And then in between, I also have more cash. So if and when a rainy day comes, and it has, like somebody will offer me in an email, and I'll say send it to me, and I'll pay after. And those things come up, and you need 5,000, and you need 10,000, and you need 7,000 on the sideline waiting, or else they're going to go to the next person. So yeah, probably start with singles, but I don't really like singles myself.
I'm not a huge fan of singles, but like I said, if you're going to get into a business and you got a limited income,
Yeah.
singles and graded give you that ability. And GameStop, I hate giving GameStop the credit for it, because, they're becoming kind of a conglomerate with Nat Turner being in the background of that one's definitely causing some turmoil, I think, futuristically for GameStop. But still, if you're looking to start out and get started, it's a great way to get into grading at a really cheap cost. I mean, $20, they ship it. You don't have any shipping costs. It's a $20 flat ship, done and out. You can take some risks at $20 a shot.
Yeah,
and not,
for sure.
and you're not going to be sitting there, if you go to PSA, if you're sending one out right now, what are they, like 25 right now for a single? If you want the discount to get down to GameStop pricing, you pretty much got to send, I think, 50 to 100 cards typically in order to get that bulk discount. So there again, I mean, my promo cards are a really, really funny one. Especially specific Gengar promos, EV promos, Evolutions promos. I mean, they're dirt cheap right now, but if you sit on them for a little bit of time, a month or two, even a year, it's amazing how much the value of those goes up.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, you got another donation.
Yes, how about that? Thank you so much, Dog and Water, again coming back. You have to. Let's see if we can pin that one up there. You have to slow grow with only 5K. Would have to buy singles and sell on Whatnot, or vend to grow and save. Even vending would be pretty difficult at $500, because vending really works well if you have a decent amount of inventory when you go, because you're going to pay $200, $150 to $400 a booth, depending on the location. And you're going to have to travel there. It's going to take time away from your house and all the other expenses for hotels and potentially on that as well. So vending, people think vending's good. Vending is actually a very expensive endeavor unless you have the inventory behind it to make it worth your trip, because you're going to have to sell so much in order to make that value out of there. Some vending trips go really, really well, and it depends on the products you have as well, too.
Yeah. And if you have no cash, if somebody comes in and you were going to offer them 70% cash or 80%, maybe trade wouldn't count. But if you were going to buy it for cash, now you don't really have any cash to buy anything good.
Yeah. Well, exactly, man. That's just it. You always got to have that cash available. I always laugh because during my live, where did my kid put it? My kid has been really good at coming in here and moving stuff on me. He's driving me crazy.
Doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he is. I really am getting to that point where I'm like, he's moving my stuff just to mess with me. Oh, he put it down here. I was gonna say he was in here the other day. So that's like I said, this is always my favorite one is during lives. I've got this bin, and it's just a bunch of different promos in it. So during my lives and stuff, I'll use this all the time because it seems like people are always like, oh, there's giveaways or things like that, because it's like they see the price of these and they're always like, oh my god, you can't afford to give that away if you spent. Dude, I bought these cards for like $1 a piece. So it's like, these cards, they were all promos back in Sun and Moon.
Nice.
So it's like the Charizard, it's not gonna focus, of course. Charizard and Brexit here. Perfect example, the Charizard and Brexit promo. This one came from Sun and Moon. The other one I like is the Marnie, the Gengar one. So these are both now. I bought these in like groups. So this is the Gengar.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love this one. Came from I saved a ton of them. I bought them in blocks back in Sword and Shield. Because nobody wanted promos, right? Promos are they're mass produced. Nobody wants them. And it's like, okay, so I got those, I've even got like the EVGX ones too. A perfect example is like the EVGX.
I love that one.
I love this card. I think it's a really awesome card. So they're simple promos. You can buy them now at like blocks for like sometimes $5 for 25. You can pay 25 for like 25 of them. So pay $1 a piece for them, and you buy them in these big blocks and you let them sit. And it's like you'd be amazed like those. Okay, so I paid $1 a piece, bought them in blocks for like $1 a piece. 25. So I bought 50 of two of them, the Gengar and the other one. So I thought the Charizard and Brexit and the Gengar. So I'm like, sweet, these are gonna be Charizard and Brexit. How are you gonna go wrong? Gengar, huge Pokemon fan favorite.
Yeah,
they're both running about $100 right now for them promos. It's like, so you literally in 6 years turned a $1 card into a $100 card just by sitting on it.
Wow, that's very big deal. Yeah.
I mean, those are two big examples. I mean, because there's also that EV, the EVGX. I think that was like 22, but that was a $1 card as well when purchased them. I mean, the EV, I got the EV VMAXs, so got a bunch of those. But let me see. I don't even know what those are at right now. I haven't even been paying attention to Sword and Shield. I was just looking at the other ones. So if you do the EV VMAX, the Sword and Shield promo, so I bought those at $1, and right now they're $4.50. So they're again,
hey, 400%.
Only 400% since 2021. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a real tough markup. So that's just it. So
I use GameStop just because it's so close to my house, convenient, and I haven't said anything crazy. The one bad experience I had, the guy took my Umbreon. This is like my 5th or 6th submission with them at the time. He goes, "Is this a good one?" I was like, "Yeah." It was already in the, can't think of what it's called, the long thing they make you submit in.
Card saver.
He goes, "This is a good one." He goes, "Ha ha ha." I was like, "Yeah." And then he like accidentally, while he was typing it, hits it. It goes to the ground. I was like, "No." But it was still in the thing, but I got 9. I was like, "No." And I wonder if it's because of him, because I thought it was like the most perfect card. And I wonder if it was that guy dropped it.
Did he? Yeah, did he ding it somehow? Make a mark and didn't see it.
Drives me crazy.
And I've heard people have horror stories about GameStop where they switch cards. No matter what you do, if you ship them the PSA, you got a chance of losing them in the mail. Yeah, I mean, no matter what you do, there's always a risk inherently with it. Like I tell people, if you're using GameStop, know your GameStop. I mean, honestly, I've walked into GameStops that I'll never walk back into just because of the way that you could tell that the way that they do business. And then there's other GameStops like my local one. I go there all the time. Great manager, cares, loves TCGs themselves. Very, very cautious with your cards, follows all the rules. What you send, you get back. There's no problems, and he's really fun to deal with. He has a lot of fun as well, just like you said, jokes around and things like that. But once again, I trust him to know that he's going to follow through and do what he's supposed to. I'm not concerned about him switching cards. I'm not concerned about things getting shifted around or anything like that when he ships. So, no matter what you do, there's always that inherent risk that something may happen on that. But like you said, they could drop it at the store, could get lost in shipping. I think GameStop's probably got a less of a chance of getting lost in shipping.
Yeah.
I think that they go a little bit different process when they ship back or ship them out. So it's not impossible.
I will say I get my cards way faster than my friends do that submit on their own. I don't do express or anything. I mean, I don't think that it's even offered at GameStop, but I get my cards usually back 45 days to 50. And
now, about 40 to 45 days right now if you go through PSA. So, man, I just got my submission back. I'm not too happy about that with PSA. I canceled everything with them now. Not even using their actual PSA services anymore because I don't know if you've seen they changed the requirements for top or for the card savers. You got
No,
to
what did they
use
do?
the you can't use the big card savers. So I've always used card saver ones because they're a little bit bigger. Because
Okay.
I got big HVAC fingers, so trying to reach into them little card savers is like impossible for me. So I got the bigger one, the bigger size, so I can get my fingers in it without worrying about damaging cards. And basically, they kicked the whole submission out, saying I violated the terms and service of the card savers. That was a 110 card submission. Sent it back because I violated their conditions for the card savers. I used
That's
the wrong
ridiculous.
size. I'm like, really? When did you switch this? I've probably sent over 3,000 to 4,000 cards in them card savers and never had them come back. And all of a sudden, this time they kicked the whole submission back. So number one, I think PSA is busy as all hell. So they're basically just finding reasons to kick things back. At this point, is kind of my feelings on where they are right now, because they could have definitely just warned me on the first time and said, "Hey, you screwed up." For future reference, don't do that. Send this one instead. Because all they're doing is ripping them out and throwing them away anyways. It's not like they're sending it back to card saver. But yeah, it's like, you're just trying to find a reason at this point in time, in my opinion, to just kick these things back.
So. At GameStop, they make you use a specific brand now too. So they want this Ultra Pro. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I already bought my own. They're like, well, you got to pay 10 cents for these. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're making a percentage off that.
Yeah, because they only sell Ultra Pro.
Yeah.
The only top loaders that they use are top card savers they sell are Ultra Pro. And that's the exact same size that PSA wants you to use.
Gotta make more money.
Yep. It's either a card. We were looking, the Card Saver 2 looks like it's probably the same size. I don't have any Card Saver 2s. But the Ultra Pro, the ones in the black box, are the ones that they sell at PSA, and that's the size that they require. That's the size that they put on the size of the top loaders now. So it's once again, conspiracy theory, tin hat, whatever you want to call it. I think that they're intentionally doing that because they know if you go to GameStop, you're going to purchase more likely if you're putting them through on GameStop that you're going to purchase them from them because you're already there. Or you got to get them immediately, so you're going to run there and buy them from there.
More money.
More money. Forcing it down the bottleneck. Here's a question right here coming from the chat. Rank investment, 151 UPC, 151 bundle display sealed, Brilliant Stars booster box. You want me to rate these?
Ooh.
I think you got them in the right order right now. Pretty close.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
The 151 bundle display sealed. You can flip flop the 151 UPC, and that will probably go back and forth. Depending on my opinion, is I would rather have the bundle display because it gives me more options. Because I could either UPC has only got 16 packs and it's a sealed box. The bundle display, you could sell it as a bundle display. You could break it down and sell out the actual bundles out of it individually. Or you could go so far as to break it down and you'd have all the packs as well. So you'd have 60 packs of cards, you'd have 10 bundles, booster bundles, or you'd have a bundle display. So you get a little bit more options with the 151 booster bundle display. So I'd probably put that ahead of the UPC.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to go with that too. I'm going to say bundle display. And then I would also say UPC and then Brilliant Stars. Because I like 151 more than Brilliant Stars, long term.
Yeah, and that's just that. I look at long-term, functionality of some of these products as well. I mean, Brilliant Stars booster box, I think is going to perform well, but the 151 has just been performing so much better. And overall, I think long-term it's going to perform better than the booster box, personally.
Trying to look at, man, I do like Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars is pretty awesome. But
if you would have put Lost Origins, I would have put a Lost Origin on top of the list. Or Evolving Skies, but Brilliant Stars is still lacking. And I get it. It's a cool Charizard alternate art and all that, but it just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to stand out or, really excel comparatively to the other Sword and Shield sets. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. The Charizard, I thought, I thought it was a cool scene. I thought it was a cool fight. I thought that the card in general was a really good alternate art. I've got it myself. I love it. It's a really cool alternate art to have. But I don't know. It's just the set itself is just lacking, and I don't know what it's lacking in. Once
I
again,
like
it
the
comes down.
Umbreon.
I like the Umbreon. I like the
Yeah.
trainer gallery. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
the trainer gallery is probably as strong as the set itself when it comes down to it. The Arceus, Arceus is in a dead era of the Pokemon TCG. I mean, there's some Arceus fans. There's Tina is always one that kind of surprised me that it does as well as it does. But I think it's because of the Devil Pokemon. Anytime you got a Dark Devil Pokemon, you got a winner.
Yeah, and 151 got a lot of people back in Pokemon. So like investment wise, so did Prismatic, but like investment wise, I think people are gonna remember 151 a lot just because so many people came in because like, oh, I remember that. I remember the original Pokemon. Yeah, cool.
And 151 was one of them sets. Like I said, it was a nostalgic set. But there were a lot of people that came in just for 151. I know a large number of people that just came in specifically, like they pinpointed that set and they left. They didn't want to stay. It was just for that set. They collected it, they regained it, they went for the 151 collection, and they just never hung around. So, but I think nostalgic wise, it definitely resonates with a lot of us, and it's really overall not surprising at all that 151 is as big as it was. The second I heard it announced, I know that I had a cool or basic trainer on the live that night when they first announced it. And I said they had the Japanese name was Pokemon 151. And I said, and basic trainer's like, what are they gonna put in that set? I'm like, really? Pokemon 151. Where do you think we're going with this? It's like, yeah, no, this is going to be the original 151. So I mean, it's like, yeah, that was a good one. I'm like, he was just sitting there like, well, are you sure? I'm like, the original Pokédex is 151. Why would you call anything Pokemon 151 unless you're doing the original Pokédex? Now, I wish they would have done like Black and White, where every single or 151 illustration rares or secret illustration rares would have been sweet in that set.
That
They
would
have
cool.
did that set would have been absolutely loaded on fire if completely burned Pokemon down if they did that with 151. Because I kind of get mad. I'm like, I'm an Articuno fan. Why did Zapdos get a card, but not Articuno and not Moltres? I know there's a lot more Moltres fans as well. So SIRs, why did you pick Moltres? I get the other, all three of them are in it. Yeah, I don't care. It's a Zapdos card. I want an Articuno SIR. What the heck? And this is BS. I'm an Articuno fan, man.
The only reason that I mean, I do like 151 for sure, but I don't love 151 because it's so easy to master set. Like I master set it really fast, so small. I wish there was more depth to it.
Yeah.
Like I never want to open 151 just because I'm like, what am I going to get in this? I mean, the ETB is like $400. I'm not going to get $400 of value out of this.
No, you're never going to pull $400 worth. Yeah. Unless you hit the Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise in the one ETB, you're never going to get the $400 out of it.
Yeah. Nope.
That's the only way you're pulling it off because I don't think all three of them together is that over $400 yet between those ones?
Raw. I want to say Venusaur's come down a lot, like $80.
Venusaur dropped a lot. Yeah, it dropped sub 100 again.
Yeah. I'm not sure recently. I want to say Charizard's probably like 250, 230.
I think Charizard was almost $300 at one
point.
I do know that. I just don't know if it's held that though. Sometimes that's the problem is that it will get there and then they drop and then they come back and you sometimes lose track of them. So if we go cards, so yeah, the right now the Charizard is 250. The Blastoise is down to 75 and the Venusaur is down to 75.
Wow, 75, man, that thing was up a lot, like 150 range.
Yeah, exactly. So you're 150 plus 250. So you're at $400. You can't even, if you pulled all three of the big three out of the box, you would not be able to cover the cost of that ETB unless you get 10s on them. So
there's no point opening 151,
Keep it sealed, man. Keep your hands diamond and leave them sealed. Yeah. I got to put this up real quick. Another one from Green Emoji Dude. It's better I don't chat. The thing you sub in, LOL. So just thank you so much, Green Emoji Dude, for that as well. Greatly appreciated for that as you're joining us here this evening.
Thank you.
FYI, your voice is cutting in and out. Have you noticed that on your end? My voice cutting in and out?
Very briefly. Like
I
it's
wonder
not
if it's
very often.
when I
Yeah.
turn my head and probably look down at the floor, it might cut out a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's
So
it's not like often.
okay. So yeah, it might have just been because I was looking away or looking down. You know, I'm looking for something to point out, and then I can probably do cut out a little bit. Articuno Journey Together. Yeah, that's a really cool. I like that Articuno. I've got a couple copies of that one. Articuno Team Mystic, of course, got to have that on Pokemon Go. But quick question for you, just to throw it out there for
Yeah.
anybody out there in the chat right now. So what is your background in like Pokemon? I mean, your history in Pokemon? When did you kind of come in? What brought you into the hobby when you did? I mean, are you an OG like all the way back in '99, or did you?
So definitely when I was a kid, all the way up till probably ninth grade. So I mean, I probably started 7, I don't know, somewhere around there till like, yeah, till high school. And then, I got a little older, got out of it. Sword and Shield came back because my parents or my son's grandparents got him some Pokemon. And I was like, man, this looks weird, like 'cause I'm used to just vintage, right? But at the time it wasn't called vintage, but that's what I'm used to, the look of it. And it looked crazy, like rainbows and colorful stuff. So I was like, I don't know, man. I wasn't like too into it. Then we went to Toys R Us, looked at it a little bit more, look at like this Pikachu at Toys R Us. I don't know if you guys have Toys R Us. And I was like, I guess we could open some more, started getting into it a little bit more. And that was pretty fun. Chilling Rain. I remember Chilling Rain. Did a couple sets for Sword and Shield, but was again not like fully into it. And then my friend hit me up about Prismatic. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And that's when I like really, really was like, okay, this is looking good. And I don't know how it is for other people with their kids, but like it's kind of difficult for me to bond with my kids when it comes to fun stuff these days because they want to play Roblox and they want to play Fortnite. And yeah, I'll play it, but it's not really enjoyable. And he started looking at Pokemon more and more on his feed. And I mean, I guess this was crazy all over social media, and so was my daughter. And I was like, okay, I love Eevee. Yeah, I remember Eevee. And oh crap, look at the Umbreon. And so we started bonding, and we were having so much fun just opening packs. And I was actually buying on people's ripping ships, and like that was such a great bonding experience. We were actually the whole family was having fun, and then we just started opening more and more and more, and haven't really slowed down. So that was the Pokemon adventure.
Yeah, not too far off. I mean, I started I was actually started as a Magic the Gathering player, back in like '97. So started with some friends. We were playing Magic the Gathering pretty consistently, and then Pokemon came out, and we jumped into Pokemon because it was a little bit more laid back, a little bit more, not as heavy when it came down to the strategic side of it. There's still strategy in Pokemon, but it's not really as heavy as it is with Magic, trying to remember all the steps, moves, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely started OG, went to about 2006. So I was playing, we were playing competitively. I was doing league tournament challenges. Started getting to the point where I was doing the point system because the first Worlds was coming out and things like that in '04. So could have gone in '05, but never couldn't afford it because, of course, I was a college kid at that point in time and living on ramen noodles. So traveling to Worlds was really not in the picture for me that year. And then back then, people really didn't sponsor you like they do now. So like now there's LGSs and stuff that will help sponsor you, and you can get sponsors to actually go to Worlds if you get enough.
That's cool.
So yeah, there's kind of been some things that are good for that. That's what my son's kind of working for right now. He says, I want to go and compete in Worlds one time. So he's trying to get his points and do all the stuff. So told him I'll help you as much as I can on that. But I said it can be an expensive endeavor. So you're gonna have to get some people to start sponsoring you if you're planning on traveling all over the country to be doing Pokemon stuff. But
Yeah.
stopped in '06 because I graduated from college, started a career, and I was just like, you know what? I just don't have time. Stopped playing Magic, stopped playing Pokemon, sold. I had a bunch of booster boxes because I was always kind of one of them fanatics that I like keeping things sealed. So I've even got like the Mountain Dew, like Halo 3 Mountain Dew metal cans still sealed with the Mountain Dew from like 1990 or 2000 and what was it, 2008 when Halo 3 came out.
That's good times.
So, yeah, the game fuel inside the metal can. It's probably eating the bottom of the can out if I look. It's actually left the chat and I don't know it. But I always kept things sealed. So I always had all these booster boxes, and I had a friend that we were playing with. His dad owned an LGS and Omni at the time, and he bought all my booster boxes. And it's like he still has my booster boxes. I'm still kind of sore about that. But his
Ah,
dad bought them all, and then they didn't sell them. He kept them because they were like jungle fossil, base set.
ooh.
Like Neo, I had a bunch of Neo. All like I was keeping one sealed booster box from every single set all the way up until like 2006. So I sold sold them all in 2006 because I was like, if I keep anything, I go all in for it. And that's just my ADHD. It's like if I have anything or if I'm still partially involved, it won't be long until I'm completely encompassing it again. So I just was like 2006, I'm done. I'm out. Sold all my stuff, kept my decks, put them in binders, put them away. And I hadn't really done much with Pokemon. Then I did like you did. 2019, Team Up had just come out, and we were walking through Target, and my son comes over, and he's just like, "Look at these!" And they were the Gengar, packs, and I was just like, "Holy crap! They still make Pokemon." I knew there was Pokemon Go. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I
Yep.
didn't know the TCG was still going this hot, where they were actually still selling them all over the place. And that's where it was kind of started up. So we opened up some Team Up. We hit the Rainbow Gengar Mimikyu inside of the set right off. We bought like
Oh,
10 packs, opened it right away. Absolute fire, super excited. And then, of course, I did the same thing you do. What is this? That is not a Pokemon card. This is like holy crap. I mean, there's color. It's the full card. It's like, whoa, this isn't just a regular hollow any longer. I mean, I left and gold stars were cool because there was a star next to the name. I mean, that was an improvement at that point in time. I'm like, wow. And then started looking into it more. And then of course, my sealed nature is I started buying sealed product, putting it away while we were opening packs and enjoying it. And it's kind of a roller coaster ever since. Just been consistently in it. We fully encompass. I mean, we sell, we buy, we trade, we play, we collect. I mean, I've got stuff everywhere now with Pokemon. Like I told you, that's why I got out in 2006. Just got rid of it. Otherwise, pretty soon it's everywhere. It just takes over everything if I'm not careful. So, but yeah, I mean that's been kind of my background when it comes down to it, and it's been fun. I've started YouTube back in 2021, more of like a cautionary sale because once again, same stories you're hearing today. You know, buying into hype, play the hype and FOMO, keep buying for investment. Investment became a big thing back then, and how value of this continued just skyrockets. So let's just keep paying money all the way up to the top, and it's like started off as a cautionary tale, and then became more of a how to best ways to invest and be safe in the hobby. Just been continuing doing it ever since. It's been kind of fun, enjoying it, and getting into the rip and chips, doing different communities and stuff like that. Just keeps rolling. Like you said, content creation's fun. If you have the patience for it, it's a lot of fun to just continue to do this as well.
absolutely. Something, you can make any kind of money off a hobby. It's pretty cool.
It is. That's just it. It's always it's fun to be able to do what you love and actually just enjoy it. And yeah, there's frustration times. If it was just a hobby itself, I really wouldn't care. But when you got a business and you're incorporated into it as a business side of things, and you're looking at once you make that step, it kind of changes your demeanor towards things. And like 2021, if I didn't get product, I didn't care. It's like whatever. We'll just wait until it shows up at Walmart. We'll get it at Walmart when they start putting restrictions. You could go buy whatever, a couple packs behind the counter or whatever at that point in time. Wasn't a big deal. But now when it's a business, it's like you got things in line to where you think you're safe and you've built your lanes and your lanes start dissolving. It's like, well, what the
Ooh.
now things got serious. Wait a minute. I did not, this is not supposed to be how this works. And I built these lanes and you're cutting them off behind me. Oh,
Big change.
yeah. It's been fun. Even so, I mean, some people, I get it. I mean, if I had a brick and mortar where my electric bill, I had employees and all this stuff in this kind of situation, I could see a lot of frustration coming from that. If I was full time in it, where basically this was my living, and I started to see like getting 60%, even 50% of my allocations.
Oh, that's rough.
All of a sudden, I mean that would just be absolutely. The only thing it does is, like I tell people right now, if I sell less right now this year, it just means I'm going to end up buying less inventory or putting less into the investment side, which there's nothing to invest in right now, anyways. Well, now there is. There's starting to become investment opportunities, but for the last 9 months, there hasn't really been anything that I've been like, I got to go buy this before it goes, to the moon. I haven't had that feeling on anything. So it's like, I can just sit back, relax, and let the good times flow.
I almost bought a couple things on TCG because the 10% rebate. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe I just missed the good deals. I was looking at Destined Rivals before TCG thing happened, the rebate, and it was like 360, 380. Now it's closer to 4. So I'm like, did people just raise their price, or did a couple people buy the super low ones for the booster box? And now that was like one of the things I really wanted. So 10%.
And that may have happened as well with the 10%. You know, people will raise the prices on the booster boxes just to compensate for that a lot of times. And I think that might be part of it. That's the problem is those when they do a sale like that, where, you know, it was like 375, right around that range. Well, it was about 375. Yeah, about looks like last week it was about 379, 380 right now. Now it's up to 405.
Yeah.
406. So it's not a huge change, but if you think about it, there's some people are probably compensating, because I don't know how that sales works on that. I'm not one of those vendors that has I'm 10%, or I don't know, do they take that off of both sides? Sometimes the coupons are like 5% off of them, 5% off of you in order to promote you type deals. I don't know how that works on TCG. I don't have anything. All mine is, you know, mine is all mine's not even up right now, so I don't know how they did that. Since eBay took it over, I don't know how. I'm actually got my stores shut down right now just because I had an issue with Binder POS, and I've just been not been motivated to redo my inventory again for like the 4th time to get it up and running. So I've just been dragging my feet.
Annoying. Gee, 4 times?
It's 4 times I've had to deal with Binder POS having to completely delete my inventory and then reinstall it. So, but yes, so I haven't really been very motivated to go and do that at this point in time. So if I get motivated, I'll try and get after that. But I don't know how they're doing that on TCG Player. Sometimes they split it, so they'll do 5%. They'll cover 5, you cover 5 for the promotion. Sometimes they do 100%. It just varies for what promotion they're doing and how they're operating it. So. But let's see. We got any questions here? I only did the figure prismatic collection. Yeah, that would be one that if I got one. The Moltres UPC. I went to go try and get one of those for my personal long-term collection, and that was a joke. My store only got like 50 of them, and there was a line at the night before, all the way around the building. There's probably 200 people sitting in line for a Moltres UPC at GameStop. They got 50 Moltres and they got 50 Charizards, and there's probably 250 people in line around the store.
And 2 per person. Yeah.
And 2 per person. So basically, probably the first 50 people got what they got them, and the other 200 people sitting there probably got nothing. And I'm like, yeah, it ain't worth it. If I'm gonna have to sit in line outside, I want it for my UPC collection, but I'm really not just gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit in line outside and freeze my butt off to try and get one.
It's crazy because the UPCs, they were charging 200, and I've heard they've lowered that a little bit. Maybe like 180 or something like that. I'm not sure, but still, even at that point, like, it's not worth camping for. It's like $60 above MSRP. So I mean, I guess for MSRP, sure, you want to go camp or something, but to overpay, that's crazy.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, I'm gonna overpay for something and sit in line to do it. Yeah, I don't know what they charge for the Moltres. I mean, did they keep it at the 120? I have no idea if they did or not.
160 for GameStop. Yeah.
So yeah, 160. Okay, so they went $40 over on the Moltres. So if I'm going to pay 160 for it, why wouldn't I just go pay $200 and sit at home?
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time I take the time and energy to sit out there, freeze my butt off, hold my spot, put my chair, fight with people, then probably not get it after sitting there all night. I'll buy it. I'll pay $200.
Yeah.
Right now 100%. They're on TCG Player for $202 plus $8. So $210.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to go over 210 in the next 5 years? Dumb question. I think if it's starting out at this price, it's probably going to be 210 probably continuously. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's for my personal collection, so I really don't care anyways.
I agree. Only 2 packs of Phantasmal.
Well, there's only 2 packs of Destins too.
Oh yeah.
There's only 2 packs of Destins Rivals in the thing. It's like it's a
Crazy.
It's a Team Rocket Moltres box, and you're going to put 2 packs of Destin's Rivals in it.
That is sad. That is really
It
sad.
is. Blitzkrieg, you should have bought coffee and sold $3 a cup. Make some money.
Oh,
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
There you go. Go sell to the scalpers. Just walk around them.
Yes. Hot dog, coffee.
Be like a vent. My luck, the town and require me to have a vendor license or something stupid. I'd get fined like $1,000 for vending without a license. That'd be about my luck.
$5 hot dog.
But all right. Well, do you have anything else that you wanted to cover tonight? Just maybe kick it over to you a little bit and see what you got.
I just want to say thank you for inviting me on. Thanks, man. Like, this is awesome. I like live streaming, and you're much more knowledgeable, especially for the business and distro side and stuff. So I learned a lot from you, and thank you to your audience for having me on. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. Awesome to have you here. Once again, and like I said, I know you've been doing videos for a little over a month now, it looked like. I was kind of watching some of your old videos, and it's kind of funny because you watch your videos, and if you want to go, make sure I put his links down in the description as well. So make sure you go out and check out his channel as well, as he's growing on the YouTube front. But it's kind of funny because you're seeing like your videos and things like that. And it's like, it feels like when I started, you start talking about these things and like how to properly ship your boxes, and it's all the it's all the simple stuff, but it's things that's always, like I said, on this channel, a lot of people are just like, well, we've already done a video like that, but it's like, it never hurts to go back and watch it again or do something again with it, because new people are always coming.
Yeah,
that video was 2 years ago. It doesn't hurt to go back to basics every once in a while and just watch through it. Your videos are exactly that feeling. Good basic, starting out, you're getting a feel for it. It's really cool to watch, you're growing, and even now your content from like a month and a half ago. It's funny, if you're serious, how content creators will go from like that first like nervous video where you're like kind of trying to figure it out and get a feel, and now you're getting your mics and you're starting to get more comfortable. You're presenting a little bit better, and it's just kind of fun to watch, that happen with individuals when it's coming through. And so greatly appreciate to watch that. And it's really good. You're doing a great job on the step ups, and like I said, you're doing the right things. It's looking great on your side of the channel, watching them, watching the videos just to make sure I was up to date with what you're doing. And, when I'm doing a live and an interview, I try to make sure I go and watch the channel a little bit. So that way I'm not like completely blind running into what I'm discussing with you.
Right on. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, once again, it's greatly appreciated to have you on there. We'll throw it out there one more time here real quick for anybody in the chat. If you got any questions that you want to ask DJ or myself, why don't we give you guys a couple minutes here to see if you got anything you want to add on. I'll just give you a minute. I see some 100%ers. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for the chats as well. Did not expect that, so it's greatly appreciated for that this evening as well. Blitzkrieg says, always new members. New crowd, always good to reloop. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing is with this hobby, it's always changing. There's always new people in here, and there's always, there's older guys that have been around forever, and there's always new people as well. So it's always great to see, new faces, new ideas. I'm not one for stagnation. I love seeing new people and things, new ideas coming around, because your ideas, and after doing this for 6 months, now you've been in it for what, month now, you said, roughly, it looks like?
For the store, 2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Okay. Yep. So you've been in the store for about 2 months. You've been on YouTube about 6 weeks is what I kind of saw.
Yeah. Something around there. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just, like I said, it's kind of cool seeing someone new starting out and then see what your directions are. That's what I'm really curious about futuristically. And for anybody watching, looking at YouTube at someone that's new, now you're getting a glimpse of starting in 2025. What does it take? How does it work out? What are you doing? And all these kind of things that maybe people have questions that they really want to have answered. It's a great way to see it, because how I started in 2019 would probably have no relevance now. And that's what I tell people, it's always relevant to where you are and what's happening at that point in time. Because if you started when I did, it might be a completely different formula. Things are going to change. So I'm stuck in a different path and a different way of doing it than what you're going to be. And it's going to be really interesting to see over the next year what changes and how that goes for you. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Let's say good luck to you futuristically. We hope to see you around. Once again, greatly appreciated for you coming here tonight. Doesn't seem like we got any questions, so we must have covered most of the questions and conversations that we had going through there as we were going. So thought there was one up here, but I didn't start. But yeah, no, you got the rank one. That was the only other one that I saw was that one. So I threw that one up for you. But
Thank you.
other than that, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Once again, greatly appreciated to have you in here. Once again, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. We'll be live on Sunday. We'll be back live tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central Time as well. And then we do our, of course, just our normal talk on Tuesday at 9 p.m. So we kind of do 9 p.m. That's what time works for me most of the time. But you do new videos. How often do you do new videos?
I've been doing every other day. I'm trying to do every other day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want up-to-date comment or content from DJ, make sure you check out his channel. He's been doing consistent videos. Like I said, I thought it was every 3 days or every couple days. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got it right from you. So every couple days, you can see what's happening on DJ Poke Center as he's growing and continuing to move forward on his career as well. So otherwise, thank you guys, everybody, for joining us. Hopefully you have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.
See ya.